I'm probably gonna head out like
Yeah, guys.
9:30. What's up, Ozzy?
The Raider way, or the Raider tenets of commitment to excellence, just win, baby. Once a Raider, always a Raider.
To the back, and he's caught! There for the touchdown! Zach Wilson throws in traffic. It's picked off by Robert Spillane. Spillane taking off. He's down. He's in a little bit of trouble, but Adams gets him out of it. He got free in the secondary to the 23-yard. Looking downfield for Devontae Adams. He's got it. Touchdown Raiders. Oh, a dice roll in Vegas for 6. The Raiders at the 40-yard line, and O'Connell wants to take a deep shot. And he's got Trey Tucker out there. Tucker diving, and he makes the catch inside the 10.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Raider Nation, stand up.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube. From the gang called niggas with attitude. When I'm caught, 5 yards, David is for safety. The safety by Crosby. You too, boy, if you fuck with me. The police are gonna have to come and get me off your ass. That's how I'm going out. For the punk motherfuckers that's showing out. Intercepted. Good night. Going off on the motherfucker like that. With a gat that's pointed at your ass.
What's up?
Tell them where you're from. Straight out of Compton. Another crazy ass nigga. Folks, how are you? Welcome inside Allegiant Stadium to Sunday Night Football and the home opener for the Las Vegas.
Hey, real quick, just stay where you are. You don't need to move. Hey, we talked about a f***ing blank piece of paper. First half's over. You know what I'm saying, right? This is going through that same mentality, that same energy, the same focus. Attention to details and listen. All gas, no brakes.
And looking downfield for Devontae Adams. He's got it. Touchdown.
Nothing you have dialed is not available at present. Please leave your message after the beep.
Yeah, trendsetter, whoa, league of my own, it don't get better.
No.
It's cool when they do it. It's the problem when we do it.
Hit it dead center. Hit it dead center. Bullseye, hit it the most, is no misses. Something like fish in a barrel, it's no different. Blindfold on me, I still got the most vision. Trendsetter told them before, but they don't listen. Better, bring a better bad because I'm bigger, better. Solo, single, selling several shows at every single second. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Time to came and crushed the competition, hope they get the message. Look, living it fast, spinning my M&M bag. I never go slow, thinking I'll crash. End up a thing in the past, they know I won't though. Big fish catching me, they gon' need a bigger boat. Ironic how the world stops when I spin a globe.
Since Tay knows history, Tay's really good at history. He said last week we was on the wrong side. Well, this week, goddammit, we're on the right side. 63 points, franchise goddamn record.
Salute Raider Nation. Appreciate you all showing up here tonight, man. Really do appreciate everybody. Salute to the chat. Salute to the mods in the chat. Salute to everybody here on the panel. Ozzy, Tori, Rudy, Eric should show up here. Salute to everybody out in the chat, man. Salute Harvey. Appreciate you, man. Salute Seth. Salute what was his name? Armando, Jason, everybody, man. Really do appreciate y'all showing up. So outside of that, basically just gonna hop into a few things. Well, if you guys want to give a shout out, so if you want to give a shout out real quick.
Yes. So to everyone in the chat, thanks for joining us. So to anyone who watches the replay, and shout out to everyone on the panel.
Salute, Chris. Appreciate you stopping by. And yes, tomorrow is the big day. Can't wait, man. So long story short, man, I just want to hop into do you want to say anything, Rudy, or anybody?
Oh, salute everybody. I'm just testing these new earpods of mine.
Hey, salute to the chat. One more day to the big day. We're going to see what goes on. You know, we've been waiting for this for, 3 months. Now it's time to get to the nitty gritty.
Facts. So basically, just want to hop into, the whole entire time, man, I've been sitting here saying ever since they brought up this whole Jaylen shit, man, I've said it since Media Row. I've said it this whole trip. Like, I just felt, I know, like, we weren't going to get that full because I've literally spoke on it 100 times about how we could have lost the games and ended up in a better position to be able to get to them, go win out, end up in 13, think you're going to hop up to one of the top players. I said the more that AP kept advocating for him, the more and more that people were going to start paying attention to him. Even with the indication that we called with the Redskins this week, this past weekend, tried to make a trade where they told us, like, hey, the trade, we're not even trying to trade out of the spot to even begin with, And, Chad Sports over here always blabbing his fucking lips about, oh, man, they don't want him. He doesn't want to be there. He don't want to play for them. Well, it couldn't be farther from the truth, could it? Because now Jayden's popping up because that was something that I remember Mitch saying multiple times about how he said this about a different team, but he never said it about the Redskins. And salute, Jack. Appreciate you, man. But never said it about the Redskins. And when he makes it out into a post out here now that basically said, like, hey, even Schefter even brought it up here just in the last few days about how Washington and Daniels have mended whatever issue people think that the issue was, and that he's pretty much set to go to Washington. And it's only more indicated that that's what it is because, one, not only did they just turn us down, but the reports of them talking about him going to Washington and then him coming out here on Monday saying, like, hey, I wouldn't have a problem playing for Washington if they were to pick me or any other team that chose to draft me. So at the end of the day, I've said I think it was a pretty good hype deal. And just because we call there, dude, I've said this a lot of times, like, it shows that we're interested. Yes, I get that. It shows to the Raider Nation that, hey, we're trying. But at the end of the day, they were never trying to give up the pick to begin with. Like, they were never trying to give it up. So, in that point, to me, it's kind of just like, I get the mind games and everything, but this is where the real issue is going to take place. Is going to be like that New England the New England Cardinals area, because both of those picks are probably going to be the pretty hot pick, man. If somebody's willing to go out there and give up a whole entire bag of picks, they've even said that we've reported to contact them too, and that what we or anybody else has offered them, they weren't even intrigued by it. So at the end of the day, man, I mean, what are they willing to give all the way up? If you can't make a trade to 3 until draft day, so until you're on the clock, because there's no point in trading to 3 if your fucking Jayden Daniels ain't sitting there, So to me, I've said it the whole time. I've every mock draft I've done through the whole entire offseason, I've never made a trade, not one time up into the top. Never traded for Jayden, because I've just said the more and more people talked about it, the more and more I was going to pump him up. I've said I don't know if AP was doing that to, help his career get started, make people see him better than what he was, get up on the board, give him a bigger check. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and argue, is he good or is he not? But the things that I got to argue is like, and these are just straight facts, all right? If any of the 6 quarterbacks, any of them, if you went Caleb Williams, Drake Mays, Jayden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, Penix, or Bo, if any of those 6 made it to the Raiders, any of them, all of them can play for the Raiders, they would all pretty much have the same damn career. They're not going to be just massively different type quarterbacks or massively different with the way they are. They're all great quarterbacks. They all have the same damn tangibles. They all have the same damn attributes. I mean, they're all great quarterbacks. So, like, this is the truth. What's going to happen is some of these quarterbacks are going to go to organizations that are good, and they're going to be great quarterbacks. And there's other quarterbacks that are going to go to failing ass organizations, and they're not going to have the coaching staffs or the players or the people to be able to coach them to be good. So that's just facts. But if we were to be honest about if any one of these 5 or 6 were to come to us and our coaching staff with our team and the way we're set up, I don't think it's an issue. I don't think any one of these guys are an issue. And the Penix talks about where people keep saying that, oh, Penix isn't judged as a top 13 pick. I don't know why you guys think that. I think you guys are way misinformed. I don't know where you get your information from. I don't know who tells you this type of shit, but this is straight facts. If he didn't have his injuries in Indy, and because he's never been injured in freaking Washington, and in Washington in 2 years, man, he put up 9,577 yards, 67 touchdowns, and 19 interceptions in a 2-year fucking span, where he played in Indy for 4 years and only eclipsed 4,100 yards. So to sit here and keep faltering him for something that happened multiple years ago that didn't even happen in the last 2, where he's empiring fucking schools, beating some of the best schools out there. So many people say the dude's clutch as hell. It's facts that if the dude didn't have the injuries there, he would be 1 or 2 quarterback this year. That's who they'd be talking to. So to sit here and say that the dude does that he would need time or this and that, he don't fucking need time. Dude was one of the best probably one of the more pro-ready quarterbacks in the fucking college at the moment. This dude is nothing but a pocket and deep passer. He's got great accuracy. He can throw short, mediums, deep. So I don't know where people get their information on Penix, but it couldn't be farther from the truth. The only thing that lacks Penix in any conversation or any talks amongst any knowledgeable football fucking people is just that people are going to bring up his injury. And I've sat here and every person can ask when I've brought it up. The one Indiana has a poor school, dude. They don't have good medical. They don't have good lot of things. So like I've said, they can't keep up like Washington or the Raiders. The Raiders have one of the best medical staffs in all of the NFL. So for him to come here and say like he would re-aggravate or this or that, he hasn't done it in 2 years. He's only been at the top of his deal. I've said he's thrown for 9,500 yards, dude, in 2 years. That don't seem to me like he's fucking slouching. So, and all the reports that keep coming out that how locked they are with him, there's only 2 teams that are like dead set on Penix, that they would take him in the top 10, top 15, and we were one of them teams that they've talked about. So I think at the end of the day, if Jayden makes it past Washington and they can still make a trade somewhere else, then so be it. But I'm just going to say it here first, just like I've been saying it for over a month now, ever since the Vikings made that trade to the Texans. we're not going to beat the Texans or the Vikings when it comes down to trade. It's just not going to happen. We're not going to beat them. They have better draft capital to go right into that trade and get it. And any knowledgeable fan that's not delusional in their little fucking peanut brain mind would know that. You can't just force your way in trades and just act because we wear the shield and we're the Raiders that we can just have any trade. It doesn't work like that. That's not how the NFL works. The way the NFL works is it's a free society. They have one phone in one hand, one phone in the other. They say, hey, what are you going to give me? You're going to give me this. Okay, what are you going to give me? All right. Oh, you don't give it? Back. Fucking hang up. That's what happens, So that's the way it goes. At the end of the day, and unless you're Al Davis and you got some fucking connection with somebody where they kind of favor you a little more, then that's that. But Mark ain't got that, so we wouldn't even go down that path. So Tom Telesco might have a little bit more room just because of the people, but you're not forcing into either one of those spots. Even more intel keeps coming out more and more that the Giants want to trade up from where they had, I think, the 6th spot, and they want to target. They want to go to the 3rd spot, and they want to target Drake May at New England. And I keep saying this to every single person. Any team that's going to make a trade, it's going to be a team like that. Because if New England trades from 3, they're only going to 6. They're not really losing depth in their players or who they're looking to draft. If a team goes from fucking their position to us, that you're dropping damn near, let's say 3 to 13 is 10. You're dropping 10 spots. That's 10 good-ass players that are going, and you're getting one dang pick, dude. The Vikings, somebody can justify going from either the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th spot, dropping to the 11th spot because they're getting another spot at the 23rd spot. So at the end of the day, I've said it. We were never up on that board to begin with. There's just too many other teams that would just start the bidding war and just have us beat, and that's just facts. And we don't want to sit here and say that with a guy like Tom Telesco and his record with drafting 1st-round talent, he's drafted Slater, he's drafted frickin' Herbert, he's drafted Derwin James, Sante Samuel, Joey Bosa, frickin' this dude, he got Tupa last year for them. He's gotten frickin' Eckler, Keelan Allen. I mean, this dude drafts great players, dude. And I've said this, any person that stays honest to the sport and is not biased to individual, the Chargers have always had a great roster. Just Brandon Staley is a trash-ass coach. That's just facts, dude. So to sit here and keep negating all these things and sit here and say, like, oh, we'll give up 3 or 4. No, we're not, man. And it would be stupid for us to do that to an individual player if we're just looking at track record of Telesco and who he gets and the way that he goes. It would be dumb on us to finally get somebody that can help build our organization in the right way, where all these people have said in the past, oh, our 1st-round picks don't matter anyways. We don't ever end up with anybody. Well, this guy ends up with them. And we're not talking about his guys over a 20-year span. We're like literally talking about his guys over the last, 5 and 7 years. That's how this guy's track record is great with draft picks, man. So to just negligate that and sit here and say that we would just give the farm, I think it would be a very dumb investment for us to do. And I've just said it with the news from Washington basically saying like, hey, we're not going to even move off the pick. And then the other news coming out with Jayden basically saying like, hey, I don't have no issue playing for Washington. And then Adam Schefter literally coming back out and saying, hey, the number 2 pick is still favored for Washington to pick Jalen Daniels. I mean, at a certain point, we're doing an injustice to the Raiders to be stuck on an individual player that we're not getting and not even talk about who we can get for our team that's going to help us. Who's our pick tomorrow? If Jaden's not there and you go into the draft, and that's what you're thinking, it's not helping the team. Like, we have to have people got to be knowledgeable on it and say, I've heard so many people sit here and say, oh, I would take an offensive guard and I would take Fuga. Fuga would be the dumbest fucking move we can make, dude. The guy is going to be a guard. He's not going to be a tackle. And again, I don't know how to keep reiterating this to any person that knows our team or knows football. Mumford has been here for 3 straight years. He's altered in and out with Illuminor, man, and they've had good success. We've been top 10 line for 2 years back in back-to-back years. And have they had a little bit of trouble? Yes, they have. But Illuminor is going to be the anchor down on the right side. I promise you, the smartest choice would be just replace the right guard for this year. It would make no sense to put a right guard, right tackle
Yeah,
on
take
that side of the field.
Take a guard in like round 2.
Yeah, it makes zero sense, and
Yeah,
at the end of the day, what makes logical sense is what needs to be done. It needs to be go get a guard, man. Keep Munford on the outside, and if he falters this year, that's fine. Let the guard fucking get seasoned. Let him learn how to play, and then when you move on next year, you can pick up the right tackle and move that direction if you need to move that direction. But to have what we have now and to indicate that we need X amount, it's not. We don't, man. Our roster is set for individual people. Look how many people said this last year. I mean, can we go back on numerous? I mean, we can go on numerous lives for weeks on weeks. How many people said Raiders are drafting tackle, guard, whatever, blah, 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 blah. We never did none of that shit. So to sit there and just keep advocating it year in and year out, like that's what we're going to do, it doesn't make sense, because the only two people that would make sense to draft as a tackle would be Joe Alt and fucking JC Latham, man. Those would be the only two fucking players.
Or Marius Mims. That's the only other one I could put in there.
Yeah, maybe.
Mims,
the tackle from Georgia.
Yeah, but
Georgia.
It wouldn't go like that, because Quentin Mitchell would go before him. So that's not how it would go. These two dudes and Quentin Mitchell, if we were going for the positional need of person, that's how it would go. And that's what it does. You have those two tackles that would be anchored tackles that are probably zero bust potential at the right tackle position. Quentin Mitchell, man, he has the grading. He would be the highest one there at that point. That's all I'd say is that at a certain point, we can't look past the draft, what they're valued at. And that's why I keep saying, if Penix is there, and if the Raiders strongly believe that he's our guy, he's every bit worth the 13th pick. And any person that knows anything about football or how they would have no issue taking him at that 13th pick. And that's just straight facts. So what did you say?
Here's what I have to say about this whole deal. And I'm ready for tomorrow, because we could stop talking about this trading up. Let's put this in a football situation, right? Trading up. I did research yesterday on my lunch break. 15 quarterbacks have been picked, because it takes 4 years to know where a quarterback is going to be, right? So you have 2016 to 2020, right? 6 out of 15 first-round quarterbacks have made a Pro Bowl. One of them have made two of them have made a Super Bowl. One is one. The only two that made a Super Bowl is Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. And then Patrick Mahomes is the only one that's won one. Okay, so for us to trade up, that's like, to me in football logic, that's like us going for it on 4th and 25. Like, if it's do or die, yeah, you have to, but it's not do or die. See, and that's the problem, is us as a fan base, and I'm not saying us, I'm saying us as a whole, as a fan base, get so wrapped up into one player. And let's be honest, if Jim Harbaugh or Josh McDaniels or John Gruden or Jack Del Rio, anybody but AP was our head coach, would we be talking about Jayden Daniels? Probably not. And everybody gets so tied up and so attached to the players and not the shield. And I've said this, Dustin said this, Ozzy said this, Eric has said this, Rudy has said this. Finga, whatever his name is, not a tackle. He is a guard. Go look at NFL Draft Mock Base or NFL Draft Buzz or whatever that site is, and it says literally translates to an NFL guard.
Blue, bro.
Like, it literally says that right on this transcript. So I don't understand why. And plus, I like Penix. I mean, that dude can freaking swing it, man. There was highlights. He's on his back foot, just dropped the ball right in the receiver's lap. Like, the dude can throw. So
Salute all things Raider Network. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I mean, Fuga's been, if you look in his scouting report and go look at the pages and look at his final projection, it says it 100% down in the bottom that Fuga would take a year or two to even become a starter, and and they projected him at a guard over tackle. Fuga. I mean, you can read a scouting report; it says it's clear as day right on it. So, anybody else? You guys have anything you want to add on it, or anything?
I'll just add that one. I think most likely we're going to stay at 13. The only trade I can see being possible, and this is like a rare, like 10% chance of it happening, is that if, say, they take Caleb at 1, they take Drake May at 2, and then for whatever reason New England takes Marvin Harrison instead of a quarterback or something, and then they take a quarterback later, like a Bo Nix or a Penix later, and say Jayden Daniels is sitting there at 4. That's the only trade up I can see is with the Cardinals. They did a similar trade up with the Houston Texans last year for Will Anderson when they took the 3rd overall pick for the 12th pick. So that's the only trade I can see happening. But that's, like I said, that's only if Jayden Daniels doesn't go like 2 or 3.
Yeah, and the thing is they're talking about the Heisman Trophy winner. People are talking about this dude to be one of the best quarterbacks, and there's some people that really truly think that this dude's going to fall like 6 spots. He's not going to fall 6 spots. I'm almost willing to bet anything I own, it's going to go Caleb, Jalen Daniels, and then it's going to be opening to either however New England thinks if they want to go for Drake or if they want to go for JJ. That's where I think the issue.
Another question I would have though is, say they take Jayden Daniels to Washington, and then say that New England, for whatever reason, they pick McCarthy, right? Would you be willing to trade up to number 4 for Drake May?
I mean, so look, how do you beat out the Vikings? How do you beat the Vikings?
Yeah, that's the other question. Yeah, the only way it would happen is probably have to give
player.
They're
going to say put a
player or it has to be a player or multiple firsts. Like it have to, instead of being like 2 firsts, it had to be like 3 or 4.
The problem I have with putting any player on there is that the player's proven in the NFL. So if they're asking for a player, he's most definitely a proven player. So for me, I'd have an issue trying to give up a proven player that is probably a player of need on our team for any dude that has yet to take a snap in the NFL. I think that would be too hard.
I agree. It's just the way
decisions right now. We're not like the Niners where we just got so much depth. It's just lingering around. We can just throw that shit away.
I agree totally. But the thing that worries me is that number 4 pick is if Jayden Daniels falls to 4, I can definitely see us trading up. But if one of the big 3 is still in there, like Drake May or Caleb Williams or Jayden Daniels, I can see us trading to 4 with Arizona, only because they did the same shit last year with the Houston Texans where they went from 3 to 12. So yeah, it's a possibility. It's a small possibility. Most likely we stay at 13, we take Penix or another position, but I'm saying there's a small chance we could trade up to 4.
Say unless Jayden falls, we're not trading up there for any quarterback. I just don't think it would make sense. I mean, I keep saying like where I think me personally, I've had the whole issue, this whole talk all the way to the draft is that people give our team so much credit in the defense. They're like, oh, look how much the defense is upgraded. Look how good it is. Look at the people. Look at the players. And then they're still acting like you still need the greatest wide or quarterback to be able to win games. Like, that's not how the NFL works. Most teams that have great defenses don't have great offenses, let alone great quarterbacks. You know, like it's usually one side or the other, or you get caught between where you have, good defense, good offense. But when you're sitting here still advocating that you have Devontae Adams, you got Jacoby, you have Tucker, you have all these dudes offensively, and we're still sitting here saying like we got to give up all these for this guy. I can't see it.
I don't agree with it. I want to stay at 13, but I was just putting it out there because it's a possibility.
Penix got a rocket of an arm. He can throw the ball. I mean, he obviously showed he can run 4.5 40. If he needs to learn how to run in the NFL, I'm pretty sure he'll figure it out. But the main key, I think, at the end of the day is he's accurate and he can throw the ball deep, and he's gonna probably tear it up with Devontae. And I said, like, Munford, I think Munford will be just fine. And if they have any issue with the way that they see, like, if people have issues with, like, okay, Penix is a left-handed quarterback, and he's going to be on the right side to be his blind now. Good, they can move Cole Miller over there and move fucking Thier Munford to the left side. I mean, they've done it, they've played it, and it's been done over the last few years through the whole camp. So it could easily be traded around if that is the need. So. And then if that was the case, I mean, I don't think they would be even talking about Penix, but to me, I don't think that it matters to them. I think they'll be just fine right or left,
So let me add one more thing about this whole Jayden thing. So everybody's like gong hu, right? Like all the couple Instagram Raider accounts are all gong hu and think that we're gonna trade up. Mike Mayock and Dustin, you and I talked about this yesterday morning while I was on my way to my appointment. Mike Mayock said you're hindering the team if you don't do your due diligence. So Telesco calling is probably like, hey, where are you guys thinking for a trade? Probably asking, gauging the situation to see if it's possible. You never know. They might be like, oh, we're done. They might be dumb and think 2 first, and then, oh, hell yeah, let's do it. But they just called to see where the gauge was. I got text messages from my friends saying, oh, we're going to trade up. We're going to trade up. I said, no, they're just calling to do their due diligence.
Well, you can't trade up with a team that ain't trading. So it doesn't
make sense. They don't have to give up that pick.
Yeah, and the other thing that's kind of like I've said, like where people I think are overtaking, where they're over, I think they're over exaggerating. What's his name's fucking Telesco's presser is because they said he said he'll trade up. He said he'll trade up, stay where he's at, or trade back, depending on how the game goes. Every guy does that every year. So I don't know why people take it and miss and run with the wrong deal.
Yeah, that's nothing special.
They're editing cuts and they're, saying certain things that aren't even damn true. Like he said,
I said,
the exact same time. So.
Yeah, exactly. Every GM said that shit. And the only thing that I added, or that I've seen that makes any sense, is like I said, if by some miracle, they go Caleb 1, Drake made 2, and Marvin Harrison 3, and Jayden's still on the board at 4, then I can see us trading up with the Cardinals. But again, like you said, we'd have to outbid the Vikings.
I'll just say it like this, and I'll put it on paper. If Jayden makes it past Washington, he's not making it past New England. It's not happening.
Probably not. Highly unlikely.
Yeah, it's not going to. They've said it on.
They got rolled.
And everything.
They're gonna roll with that
for business, and again, they've even reported over the weekend that we tried to contact them, and they said that the haul isn't big enough. So if we're calling and other people are calling and they're saying, hey, what you guys are offering isn't big enough, all they're basically saying is in order for us to get off Jaylen, if he gets to us, you better fucking throw out here something that we can't turn down. You know what I mean? So to me, like I said, I just can't see it happening. I think all 3 of these teams want Jaylen outside of, I would just say the 2 teams outside of the Bears, because I've already said the Bears is a lock because of one reason, and if anybody knows why, it's because the medical record of Caleb Williams was never passed on to any other team, and if he doesn't pass on the medical record, means that they're going to take him, because the rules are that if any other team wants to draft Caleb Williams and they ask the Bears for the medical records, they have to relinquish the records to him unless they are going to take him at the number 1 pick. Then they don't have to relinquish any medical records. So you can just know 100% that Caleb is going to be a Bear. So there's no doubt.
Caleb's going to Bears.
Single person that's brought up about the Jayden Daniels. I mean, Chad Sport has advocated this shit for over a week now. It's like every fucking video is a fucking Jayden Daniels video. And he kept on saying it over and over and over on his show. Hey, man, he fucking said that he came out on record when somebody advocated that he wouldn't play or didn't like this guy. He came out on record and he said it. Well, guess what, Mitch, man? After you advocated it for so long, Jaylen came out on record and fucking made it clear that he will play for the fucking Redskins, and the Redskins have made it clear that they will pick him. Schefter told everybody when he was getting off the show, you might as well get your Jayden Daniels jerseys. Then people took it out of context. Then they fucking go back and talk on it. And then he still, when they asked him at the end of the day, said Jayden Daniels is still projected to that pick. And then here come the reports here just yesterday, today. You know, like I said, man, the writing's on the wall. Anybody that wants to look past it's their choice. I mean, we tried to contact the Redskins to get that pick. They told us no. Said it wasn't even up for sale. So done. It's a done conversation. There's really nothing more you can say at that point. You know what I mean? So
I agree. Penix makes the most sense now, unless by some miracle, like I said, they pick Drake May over Daniels, which I don't see it happening.
I mean, and everybody's deals that everybody's been talking about, they don't think Drake or that did he say Drake May?
Yeah, Drake May. Unless the Washington Redskins take Drake May, which I don't think will happen. It's a small chance, but I doubt
He's not going to take him. And I think, like I've even said, like if people even read the reports, the Vikings and the Giants both have contacted the fucking what's it called? The Patriots and asked for that spot there, and the Patriots have yet to relinquish it again, saying that they have yet to get the haul. And Drake May was on the Dan Patrick show today, and they asked him about, hey, where do you think you'd be going? He said, you know, he didn't know this and that. Well, he didn't say he didn't know, but Dan Patrick asked him, like, you have an idea where you're going to go, right? And he was like, yeah. And then he was like, how do you like cold weather? And he was like, I have no problem playing in cold weather. So, like I said, I think
he's probably going to be New England.
I've said that these teams all need quarterbacks. So to sit here and act like people are just going to pass on teams that quarterbacks that are good quarterbacks would just be fucking crazy. It'd just be straight fucking crazy. I mean, the only team I can probably see that would be like, okay, maybe not try quarterback right this second would just be the Patriots, because of the fact that maybe they just need more than just a quarterback. And by the time you put them on a contract and then you're a few years down the road and getting everybody, you're going to have to pay him and there's no continuity. So that team would probably have a little bit of an issue there. But to me, I don't see why any of these teams would. I mean, listen, everybody talked about the Broncos not getting rid of Russ because of how much money. Hella people talked about what's his name? Daniel over there at fucking
Daniel
Jones over there at the Giants, that they wouldn't move off him. They weren't looking for a quarterback because the contract. Then bam, what do you know? Fucking they're right here talking about, hey, we'll trade up with New England right fucking now and go get our quarterback. And they've said it straight up that they want Drake fucking May. So this is all I would say, right? Look. What team is the Giants and the Vikings from this morning? Google it right now. Google it right this second while we're on here. What team does it say and what player? It says New England, Drake fucking May. It didn't say New England, Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels' ass is going to be off the board already. That's why they're saying Drake May, fucking New England. That's exactly what they're saying. They wouldn't have said Drake May to New England if that's what those two teams were trading. If Jayden Daniels was on that board, it would be Jayden Daniels at that New England pick. But that's not what the Giants are saying. The Giants are saying that they're interested in Drake May and that they're willing to make the trade up, and so are the Vikings to that third spot. So it tells you right there, Jayden's not going to be on the board, man. Like, he's not going to be on the board. And if these GMs are trying to make it up there to 3 right now for Drake May, they already know who the first 2 picks are. So if other people don't know it, that's their deal. You know what I mean? Like, they've already advocated. They know who it's going to be.
And not to brag or anything, but who was the one last live saying that the Giants were going to draft a quarterback? I'll wait.
Says who was the worst out of those 2?
Giannis said, I don't know who was worse out of those 2, Gruden or Mayock. That's tough.
I mean, I don't think either one of them were bad because, like I've said, every fucking player over the last 5 years it was a Gruden and Mayock person that everybody's advocated for. So 1 minute there's hating that we don't have good picks and all this shit, and then on the other hand, they're advocating every fucking player to not get rid of. We're all Gruden people. So crazy, right? They should probably know who picks what players before they say dumb shit like that. So it's just like I've said about Mayock or Ziegler. Fucking Ziegler. I mean, I would have never got rid of Ziegler. I'd have kept his ass all
We built
day.
the foundation of what we got now, along with signing free agents like Spillane. So
and Ziegler he got us out of the cap hell that we were in.
Yeah, in just 2 years.
Yep.
Yep, I've said. So basically, at the end of the day, the reports that I have been reading and the information that I've been getting is that if Penix is on the board at 13, we're going to take him. And I've even heard indications that have indicated that if he's anywhere around the 10th spot, that we would hit up. I think that's the Jets at the 10th.
Jets.
That we would hit up the Jets, trade with the Jets to the number.
If you remember, I said a couple. Yeah, if you remember, I said a couple months back that we could trade with the Jets. It would make more sense than trading all the way up into the top 3 or 4.
Yeah, and the only reason that they're claiming that it would be with the Jets right now is because of the fact that if an outside team tried to trade in, if the
Broncos could be one.
I think where the Seahawks pick. I could see them needing a quarterback.
I don't think they'll.
They got Gino. I don't think they're going to go. Yeah, they will, but maybe not that early.
Okay. Yeah. Who's their quarterback? Gino, right?
For who?
Gino.
It's Gino for now, but Sam Howell is a.
Sam Howell's there, and then
that's right. They traded for Howell. Yeah.
They're interested in taking frickin' Spencer Rattler in day 2. So So Washington. Them and us were all at the his pro day watching him. So, like I said, I think at the end of the day, it's probably going to be the Seattle that's going to take. We don't end up if we don't take a. So let's just say we don't take Penix at the.
Yeah, that's 16.
This is how I look at it.
We're going to jump the Vikings.
It's easier to trade backwards than it is to trade forwards. If you trade forwards, means you're giving up draft capital. That means that's in rounds behind us. Some of the rounds, if you're doing mocks the whole time and seeing the player value, you'd be dumb to just give up fucking any round between 1 and 5, pretty much. I think 1 and 5, you want to keep your 1 and 5 rounds. I mean, there's just too many good players in there that can help build it. These are key words that Tom Telesco used in his own mouth in his presser. He said, he said the 8 people, he said, we need to hit on these 8 people, their core pieces. He was like, they may not be here. They're not going to come in and start this year. There'll be people that'll be here 4 and 5 years down the road. But the one thing he kept advocating he said 8, 7, and 9. So he indicated 8 picks, 7 picks, and 9 picks, which is indicating either moving up and only giving up 1 pick or moving back and picking up a pick. So to me, I think he already knows he wants to stay right between there because he said it multiple times. Anybody who watched Pressure knows exactly. He said it multiple times. He basically said, that he needs about 8 players. He advocated it multiple times on the fact that he needed 8 core players that were going to be the future. He even spoke on the fact that he was impressed that the Raiders drafted 10 players and had 10 starting players last year. Like that, he spoke on that. He said that was impressive as hell. So all I'm saying is I feel like they know we're not just one person away from going to Super Bowl back to back. He even spoke on about how Kansas City has been so productive because of the fact that they draft good, they draft well year in, year out. That's what keeps them ahead of people is their picks. I feel like with Tom Telesco and the way he picks people, if he picks people with the people we have on our staff and roster, man, we're going to be a dangerous fucking team. But man, if we're going out there and giving up three of our fucking 8 picks and they're our main picks in the beginning of the draft, that's just stupid. We're not trying to win then because there's too many people in there. Like I've said, if we were going to play logic and get the better team for our team. If we draft Michael Penix, we can take Cooper Beebe in the second round. Cooper Beebe is like probably the baddest ass guard that's going to be in this draft. They would say he's one of the strongest, one of the meanest motherfuckers out there. He's great run, great pass, dude. He's a great guard. That's what we need, a fucking right guard. And if we put him in there and he becomes the mauler that he's supposed to be, we're going to be just fucking fine. I've said it. If Penix and then what's the other guy? Travian Walker, man, a linebacker in the third round. He would be another player of need that would come to our team, man. He's a seek to destroy type player. He would add instant value to our team. I've said, like, in our draft, I truly believe, like, in the fourth round, if we were to hit up the Texans, man, and trade back in the fourth round from the 112, 127 pick up their 188 pick, dude, and give them our 112 pick. At that 127 pick, we can pick up that dude from Fresno or Florida State, fucking Jones, fucking the corner. He's a little badass, man. He's a little slot corner. He's aggressive as shit, dude. And that guy is just another seek to destroy type player. If we get into the fifth round and we still have freaking Luke McCaffrey on there, that's where we can pick up our first receiver, because I think he would be a great ad. He's got great tangibles. He's a great all-around receiver. We're not looking for starting players at these points because we already have Devontae, Jacoby covered. We're looking for dudes that can come in and be rotational players. So Luke McCaffrey, especially with his brother and everything, he probably has great genes. So I would most definitely draft him. Then in the sixth round, at the 188 pick that we got from the Texans, man, we can go after fucking what's his name, Taylor from Air Force, the safety dude, freaking can't remember why I'm spacing his first name, but either way, his name's Taylor. He's from Air Force, dude. He's a little badass safety. He's a little fucking plug and play, ready to go type guy. And I've said, like, all these people are people of need that are need to be to the team. We need that. We need, when people are struggling, to throw them in there and be able to have people that can keep the gameplay. It's kind of like I say about the Lakers, man. The Lakers are good when LeBron's in, but when LeBron goes out, you can't score points. Team falls apart. We need to be able to score points when people go out and sit on the bench, man. Like, that's what we need to do. So when we're looking at all these people that I'm telling you guys, like, these are all great people. Go look at their RAS scores, dude. They're all hella high. They're all 9s. They're all 8s and 9s. They're all people that concept the game. They're going to probably have a very high success in making it in the game. And these would all be players of need for us. At that 188, that would be him. Then the one, what would that be? The 208 pick. There's another wide receiver that we can take, Ryan Flauel or something. I can't ever pronounce his last name. But he's another badass dude right there, because I've said it. I think we're going to draft 2 wide receivers in this draft because we only have 5 right now. And 2 out of the 5 is DJ Turner and fucking Wilkinson. Or not Wilkinson. It's Wilkinson, right? Wilkinson.
I think we draft 1 receiver, 1 tight end, but like a receiving tight end.
I think we have plenty of tight ends. I mean, I've said it a bunch of times. You have McGletchey, you have Bryant, you have fucking Mayer, you got fucking Fotheringham, who came in for numerous snaps last year, played just fine. I can't see us going and wasting a pick and a tight end. I mean, unless like I said, we rolled with Hooper and fucking Mayer last year with Fotheringham and somebody else. Like, I just can't see it. We have too many good people on the tight end position. I mean, like I said, Gletchy's a good freaking dude. He was in Pittsburgh. He was a great rotational player the whole entire time. You got Bryant, that's a straight fucking run-stopping fucking tight end. That he's a straight blocker, so he's great. And then our main tight end is going to be Mayer. So I just can't see wasting a pick on it. The wide receiver has to be picked. You have to have 5 wide receivers. You're going to have players on the practice squad. Like, I don't see any way around it. I just don't see any way around it. You're not going to go into the season with only fucking 4 receivers on the board. And DJ Turner's not going to be on the roster. That'd just be down for us, because Tucker was the same player. Tucker is him. That's why DJ's on the practice squad, because if Tucker and them get hurt, he comes in and takes over their spot. It wouldn't make sense to have them all on the field at the same time. It's like I've said, when people look at the slot, Jacoby Myers has been a slot receiver his whole career, literally. Dude, like he's played most of his snaps out of the slot. So Devontae plays out of the slot. So, like I said, we're going to need 2 receivers. Now, regardless if it comes from free agency or comes from the draft, I believe in the draft we can hit on two good of them, 2 good. And even if it's not that dude Ryan, there's that Cornelius Johnson that was with the fucking Michigan dude. He tested one of the highest tested receivers in the last 50 fucking years on those deals at a 9.9. 5 in there. So, I mean, if we can grab him in there, I would most definitely, I think it's Tori's mic. His shit be echoing all the time. Yeah, so I mean, like at the end of the day, I feel like we have every deal. Like there's a guy named Frank Crum, dude, that we can grab in the last pick of the draft, man. That would be from Wyoming. That would be a great right tackle project. He's a big ol' ass motherfucker. He has a great score. He can be a great player, and he can sit out there. There's no point to go get a right tackle, in my opinion, when you got Munford that's been here for the last 3 years and been playing just fine, and you got fucking Dalton Wagner that every single person last year advocated for the whole entire time until he got injured and got put on the injured reserve list for the season. And I still think they did that just to protect him. But long story short, I just can't see that it's a be that big of a need. And I've said the right guard is 100% the need. And anybody that thinks that, you know, we would go out and get Whitehair and act like he's going to be our right guard, there were a bunch of people on the board that were 100 times better than him. So I can only see him being a backup. Like, if I'm just being honest, I can only see him being a backup at right guard, left guard, and fucking center. But his 2 positions he's played is center and left guard, dude. So I don't know if that would be smart to go do that. So again, I've said, I think there's a lot in here when we look at that way that halfbacks or things. I think the way all those alter is just the way that the team falls. And I've said it for the first round pick, I can name 3 players in 3 different directions we can go. In the second round, I can do the same exact, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh. So I feel like no matter if we went cornerback in the first round or quarterback, there's always a way that, again, like Spencer Rattler in the second round or the third round, we would have to take him at 77 because I don't care. There's too many teams that are sitting right behind us that where Sanja says like, oh, he's not worth the top 3 deal. Well, I would have to disagree. I would 100% disagree. I think 100% if Spencer's not gone by round 2, if we were to pass on him at 77, you're not getting him. He's going to go to the Seahawks. I'll bet anything Seahawks would take Spencer right there at that pick right behind us. So I think you just have to stay pat. You'd have to pick him there. But all I would say at the end of the day, yes, there are multiple different directions that the roster can go or the draft can go at any moment. It's just like I've said.
Another player I can.
You can go with fucking. I still think that's. I think Cooper Beebe has to be a lock to us, man. I mean, I don't care how we go.
Any other
be a lock to us in that second round.
Maybe the only other player I can see him taking that might bump up to the second round is Braden Fisk. Because Max says we never came about Braden Fisk. If we take quarterback, say we take Penix in round 1, it's a possibility. Or he might fall to round 3, but I have to wait and see.
Yeah, I just think when you got fucking 10 defensive tackles on your team and 4 or 5 are already in the contract, be the smartest choice. I mean,
what do you guys think about?
We're just taking people for their
corner
point, you know, like we already have. I mean, we can go pull up the roster right now. We have like fucking 10 defensive tackles. Like, I just don't feel like they would look at a defensive tackle until later rounds. Like, in the end rounds, you're looking at a guy you can cut a 7th round dude. You can cut a 7th round guy. But at the end of the day, when you sign Butler and fucking Jenkins and all them back, those are veteran players that played the year before and had success. So to me, and especially with Tyree Wilson rotating back and forth, I'm just thinking it's too many players. I don't think it'll be a positional need. I just can't see it. I think what'll happen in that third round, I strongly believe that Cooper Beebe we will draft him. I mean, if he's there in that second round, that's a massive need for us at that point. He's probably one of the better people. The third
I
round,
agree. He's a solid right guard.
the third round, you can go multiple directions with, like, you know, the wide receiver from Washington, fucking McLennan. You can go with freaking the safety there, fucking God, what the hell is his name? I can't remember why I'm spacing him, but he's really good safety. He's projected to be one of the best safeties on the board at the time. But like I've always said, every round has its own three people. You could always reiterate it every single time. Yeah, your mic is still echoing. Yes.
I don't know why it does that. Anyway, what do you guys think about outside corner? Because I forgot we had FaceTime.
Well, we have Faceum, but that dude I was talking about, fucking what's his name from Florida State, fucking
Didn't you say he was a slot?
he can play outside, inside, but it doesn't matter. His name is Jarian Jones, I think is how you say his name.
I really like that one that you were talking about, that King guy. He's pretty good. That King guy.
Yeah, he's from Penn, but he won't be on this guy's level. I've said just because a player is projected at a higher pick doesn't make him the better corner. The RAS score will determine more times than not a player's bust rate versus success rate in the NFL. The Jerry and Jones is a few picks behind him because Jones is King is going to be, he's a Penn State corner, and he's at projected around the 112, 113. But Jones has the better success rate that would have the better success in the NFL. And if you think about it, Nate Hobbs can go to the outside. It's not like Nate Hobbs going to play outside. So if we were to sit there and say Jack Jones on one, Nate Hobbs on the outside, and then you have Brandon Faceum switching back, and then you have Jones that can go to the inside there. You still have Sam Webb. You still have numerous.
Yeah.
Probably go that route, because when you're looking at, like, when you bring up all the scores for players that are in the top, for instance, when you bring up their scores, I have a list where it'll show every single corner, every single corner's grade. And
Is that site free?
when you go through their scores on there, for one, the players are going to end up in different rounds, even with a high score. And the people that ended up in the same round are in the same round as Jones is like Hart. The problem with Hart is, man, like he's a sloppy fucking player, dude. Like Cam Hart, I would not fucking draft that dude, because every replay, every single video you watch of this dude, he may be a tall, lanky guy, but he fuck all over the goddamn place. Like he's always fucking behind. They're always catching. Like this dude is like, to me, I feel like he's really sloppy corner, and those two both match up every single time in that spot at the same deal. And I would take Jones over him, hands down. And unless you're taking Mitchell, it doesn't make sense to draft any of these other corners in the middle, because I've said I believe that Cooper is the better option. I believe Cooper Beebe is the better option for the Raiders in the second round. Like I strongly believe like he has to be a solid pick to the Raiders, man. Like it's a massive need for us, dude. It's a massive deal. And it's just like I say, like when you look at it, you can see on the list here, you can see where it'll project. It projects every single RAS score for every single corner. And then every one of those guys are projected in different rounds. And then you can go through there and look at them. And when you go and look through them, I've always said you have to match every round to not take away from good players, man. And I've just said that round in the fourth round, giving up that 112, and if we can make that trade with the Texans, would make the most sense for that corner. That corner is a good ass corner. You watch tape on that fucking guy, he's explosive as fuck, dude. Like that guy would be a great add to the team. And I think like Telesco said, if they don't have Raider type mentality, they don't belong here. This guy got Raider all over him. You look at Cam Hart's tape and then you look at his tape, fucking night and day. I mean, night and day difference. I'd take the dude that's 5'11" over the dude that's 6'2" or 3, whatever Cam may be. I'm gonna take fucking Jones over him all day. And I've always said, when we're starting mocks or starting doing deals, you learn about players as you go. There's no way everybody knows every fucking player in the college. There's too many fucking players. It's just you learn about players as you're going, and people are telling you. And when you start researching different areas, man, it's really hard to start keying in on certain individuals. So as we get closer and closer, we've been through hundreds of people. You can start putting locks on certain players. And I've always said, in that 112 spot, I always had, what's his name? Jalen Hunt, the fucking edge player. But I felt like the corner, we would need a corner if we didn't get one in the beginning.
Yeah, and Kyrie probably.
I just kept thinking about that. If we went with Penix, I mocked numerous times and never took a corner. And then I started thinking about it. Nah, I can't do that. So then that's when I went up and looked up that list and then started looking for these people in the draft. Okay, which rounds are you guys projected? Started looking them up on the scouting reports. Okay, they haven't projected in these rounds, so it'll match the rounds that we're drafting them. So that's how I did it. So I know that they would be there if it was in real life. So that guy was projected all the time, and same with Cam. The problem was we were at 112. They're around the 130, 135. You can't draft too far back because you can't get around. You got to be around that 125 because there's going to be teams that are going to want them dudes, man. So if you think you're going to move down to like, the 130, you're just taking too big of a risk. The window's too open that other teams can just hop up there and take them. And I've always said, just because the player is projected in draft doesn't mean that somebody want to take them 5 or 10 out. I've said they'll take them 12 out. I strongly believe it. I've seen it through the whole time I've ever been alive. So to me, I think that being at that 127 mark would guarantee us that corner. And I think we can lock them for sure. And I've just said, if you look at the first few people, if that draft was to go that way, I mean, we solidified our team pretty fucking solid. I mean, we would have a team that can most definitely go out there and most definitely compete against good fucking teams. And to sit here and not give Munford, the credit that he deserves. I mean, Munford rotated in and out for the last few years, dude, and he's played good and he's played bad, but it's still, even with their off play, they still had a top 10 line at the end of the season for 2 back-to-back years. So to not give him fair and give him his full start, I don't think it would be fair. And I think that we're about to most definitely give him his start unless Dalton Wagner beats him out. But I strongly believe that's where it'll be at.
Yeah, speaking of guard and offensive line, another option I can see is we take Penix in the first, we take a corner in the second. Is Zach Zinter tends to fall around that 3rd, 4th round. So that's another option at right guard if we don't take BB, or if BB goes before our pick in the 2nd round.
Yeah, I think if BB goes off the board would be the only way I would switch to any other individual. I think as many times as I've mocked that mock,
BB is the best right guard in the draft, though.
9 out of 10 times. And I'm just going to have faith that he'll be there. I've always said.
I hope so. I mean, BB's my favorite guard in the whole draft. So.
Yeah, I feel like guys like these are going to fall because of the fact how people are going to take the quarterbacks in the beginning.
Yeah,
and
I agree. I agree. I said it like
quarterbacks. You're talking about 7 players getting projected out of their original spot, So salute Raider Sudi. I appreciate you, bro. He says, I hope that we draft Michael Penix. If we don't, trade up for Jaylen. He's solid as fuck. Yeah, I mean, the only way we can get Jaylen is if Washington don't give him and somebody else gives us that pick, Eagles may trade up to 12 with Denver. They want to tackle. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen it, but that's why I've said J.C. Latham. And so I think the 3 top tackles would be Latham, Alt, and then that dude from Washington, fucking. But I think isn't he a left tackle? Is that guy a left tackle or is he right tackle?
Which one?
the tackle from Washington, the Huskies, fucking.
What?
He
Roger Rosington, that one or the other
He
one?
starts with an F2, man.
Fenuatu or whatever.
Yeah.
He's a left tackle. He's a left tackle.
Yeah, and that's what I say, that they're the top 3 tackles, I think, in the board coming out of here. I'm saying I don't think Fuga or however you say his name is, man, is going to be rated as a top tackle. I can't see it, man. As many reports, everything I've read on him, man. I mean, and don't get me wrong, certain coaches can most definitely coach it into him. So I'm not going to sit and say, but every major scouter that scouted him said that just he gives up too much on the outside against especially edge rushers, and especially if that fool was in the AFC West, he'd get dogged on. And they even mentioned that about the pressure coming out from here. So I just think, like they've said, he would be a better career player at the guard. And they've even said that he's a projected 1 or 2 year player to be a backup or starter. So I don't know, man. I mean, to me, I'm not trying to waste the 13th pick on that dude. Like, I'll just straight say. But the one thing I will say is that if Telesco believes that's the guy, then that's the guy, because I can't go against what he's picked. You know what I mean? Like, I can't. So let's just do this real quick. Let's do this real quick. So let's start with you, Eric. What if you get to pick tomorrow any player that you feel, not this question is going to go to everybody. I don't want you to just tell me the player. I want you to tell me why. So if you get to pick any player, add him to our team, tell us the name of the player and why you believe he would be the best add to our team.
Oh, let's see. They're at 13. Honestly, I would roll Penix. I know for me that shocks me because I said it'll be a reach, but I've done research. I kind of backtrack that. It wouldn't be that much of a reach. And why? Because he would be the best thing at need, because his team is entirely need of a quarterback. And to compete in the AFC West against Frog Boy and Herbert, we're gonna need somebody that can extend plays, that's durable, and that's a winner. And I feel, hey, if all options are off the board, why not roll with him?
Who was it?
Oh, Penix.
All right.
And like I said, he's won. And straight injuries are a bit scary, but he's been healed from that, and he wasn't hurt at Washington. Maybe because he had a great O-line, and happens here we have a great O-line as well. So yeah, I feel like if he's there, take it and just keep the line strong so he doesn't get hurt. You know, we don't want injuries on the quarterback. And hey, what's to say he ends up being the best quarterback out of everybody in that class? Like you never know. We pick him at 13. A couple years later down, he ends up being better than Caleb and Jayden and Drake and Old Man Bo and Spencer, all them dudes. And
You keep saying old. He's only 24.
And 24 plus 10. But I mean, why not? I mean, we're gonna go with the best player available based on need. It's quarterback. You could say Mitchell at Toledo, but you can get a corner later in the draft. You can get other things later in the draft. You can't get your guy.
Salute, Mark.
And that's what you're talking about a Rattler or Michael Pratt. But you cannot get your day one starter if you don't get him, for us at least, within the first round.
No, I agree 100%. I mean, I strongly agree. Ozzy, player, and how come?
Penix, to be honest, is my second choice. I won't be mad if we dropped him. Mine is still Mitchell. I just feel like Mitchell's got that X factor. I think if we put Mitchell across from Jack Jones, I think we can have like 2 lockdown corners without pass rush, without with picking up Wilkins and everything, and having a lockdown secondary. I think we can have one of those defenses that can win us games, and then we've got AOC back there, ain't gonna matter. And I feel like if we really want to bring that Raider mentality, it should be on the defensive side of the ball, man. Like, bring back that strong secondary, bring back that like elite pass rush, and I think we can pretty much win the game with a game-managing quarterback at that point. Like, we won't need an elite quarterback because we'll have an elite defense. So we just need a quarterback that can get the job done, that can manage the game. Then we can also get guys like Spencer Rattler later on, or we can get a guy even like Jordan Travis later on. And then if it doesn't pan out with that dude because they're 4th or 5th round, it ain't gonna matter. And then there's gonna be quarterbacks coming out in the following draft as well. But again, I won't be mad if we get Penix because like Penix would be my second choice after Mitchell, so I won't be mad either way.
Heck yeah. No, I mean, I agree. Both of those players are great players. I mean,
depends. To me, it depends. Like, do you want to win the game because of your offense or your defense? If you want to win because of your defense, you get Mitchell. If you want to win because of your offense, go get Penix. Like, it just depends on like what do you want your identity to be, offense or defense? Like, pick one. And we keep saying like we're gonna have this elite defense. So fucking make it elite then. Get another fucking corner in there that can look down the other side of the field.
Facts. Tory, player, and how come?
Ozzy made it tough on me, man. He really did. But here's the thing that really stuck out to me. If your 4 can get home, which ours can, our secondary won't matter. We look at that game we beat the Chiefs out of nowhere during that COVID year in 2020. We won because our 4 got home. And so with that, and I'm pro Aiden. I like Aiden. He's a good dude, but he's a career backup. And don't get me wrong. One thing that was missing last year, and I know for a fact because I talked to Hondo, and why Adams was so pissed off was the deep ball. So I'm going Penix. Just because, quarterback is the most important position that you can have, and it's the most important position in the game. So I'm going Penix.
All right, Frick and Rudy, player, and how come?
I'll be honest with you. We could get a quarterback in the 2nd round with either Penix or Bo Nix. I'd go with Quinn Mitchell in the 1st round. We need a corner badly. Yes, it's true that Aiden O'Connell, in my opinion, can't compete against Justin Herbert or Patrick Mahomes. He's not fast at moving that ball that quickly. We played the Chiefs and we won because of our defense. That's not going to happen again. We got lucky doing that. And, that was the luckiest win. I mean, yeah, even the Broncos luckily beat the Chiefs too. But I would take Quinn Mitchell, that 13th pick. And if there's no quarterbacks going to get taken in the 2nd round, probably by the Jets or even the Patriots. And if so, you could always trade the 2nd round pick to a higher pick and take a Penix or a Bo Nix. I'd take Bo Nix over Penix. Penix is more like a Byron Leftwich type. He's a pocket lefty. He's got that same ideology of throwing the ball at pocket awareness. He's more of that than but with Bo Nix, he's a little more scrambling. He fits really good with the West Coast offense, I think. And because of Telesco, the fact that Telesco drafted Justin Herbert, I could see him really getting Bo Nix in the 2nd round. But if he really wants him, he'll take him. He'll get him either way. That's all I got to say.
No, I mean, that's true. It's true. I mean, I don't think Penix is making it to the 2nd round on any given day. I think Penix will be gone by pick 15 or 18. I don't think he's just going to go. Penix is going to probably be gone in the top 10, 15. Like, I'll just bet anything. Bo has been most definitely talked about going into the either late 1st or early 2nd day. So look, I'm kind of tossed on it because I feel 2 different ways. I've said from day one, I think before we even started our mocks, I've said I'm quitting Mitchell dude the whole way through and through because I believe add him to the defense, we would more have the solidified defense. But at the same time, if we don't get a guy like Penix, then we're just wasting Devontae's career away, dude. And we're about to have him on the books for $44 million for back-to-back seasons. So if we don't get a quarterback that can make this dude happen, we can restructure his contract. One, we're either eating it or we're forced to be having to trade him. So to me, I've always said the reason that you can pay a wide receiver $44 million is because you have a quarterback that's on a rookie contract. That's how they offset it. It's just facts. That's how they've always done it in order to have good teams and good rosters. So the question would come down to that, one, everybody, I mean, as much as I like Aiden and so on, there's no way that we can sit here and say Aiden is better than Penix, because Aiden and Penix all played in college together, and Aiden never played like Penix has. So that's just going to be, you'd have to negate that right then and there. So going to college, NFL, yeah, it is two different deals. It's two different atmospheres. But the one thing I have said that would favor Penix instantly is his he's a left-handed quarterback, but he's throwing to Devontae Adams. I mean, it's a fucking, I mean, what better receiver could you ask for? So to me, yes, I agree. I would probably have gone to Quentin Mitchell beforehand, but I do believe at the end of the day that Penix would make the team 100 times better on the offense, especially with the players like having Devontae Adams, Jacoby, Tucker, and then whoever we draft or whoever we recruit. At the end of the day, yes, I agree that you can go one way or the other, but it does take a team to win. And if we keep and listen, against the Chiefs game, our offense did beat that game because it was Zamir White that was
ran the ball.
On that ran it down and so on. So even though the defense kept the game where it was for those 3 quarters without Aiden completing the pass, it still was the offense that ended it out with Zamir. Don't be leaning on the chair like that. With Zamir running the ball out. So
that was controlling the ball. You're right about that.
Yeah,
with ball control.
145 yards.
Here's the thing why I feel like Penix why we need to go Penix, because of that statement right there. 3 quarters, not completing the pass, not doing nothing. Imagine if we had a quarterback that we didn't have a fucking a Quentin Mitchell on the team when we stopped them for 3 straight quarters. Quentin Mitchell wasn't on the team. We didn't have him. So if you're telling me that we're able to hold them for 3 quarters like that and put a Penix over here, we would have kicked the living shit out of them. And going forward, it would probably favor us in that aspect to make sure that we have a quarterback that passes for 4 quarters when our defense is finally shutting motherfuckers down. If Derek Carr was here and our defense would have fucking stopped him for that, he would have did the same thing. Carr ain't never go no 3 quarters without fucking completing the pass, and the whole entire time he's been a Raider ever. So, like I said, me personally, I believe the quarterback would be the bigger need. I believe that we should probably target Penix at that 10 or 13. And I think it should be, because listen, if we don't get him now, we're only going to be talking about a quarterback next year. Like, I strongly believe it, dude. Like, I strongly believe it. And then this is where the cycle starts. It's get rid of Derek Carr, and every fucking year after Carr, we result back to 2002 and 3, where once Gann and them were gone, it was quarterback every fucking time. So it didn't matter who their names were, who those people were. I believe if we get a jump on it right now, and I've said this, and I strongly believe this, if Penix didn't have those injuries in Indiana, dude, he would be the top 1 or 2 quarterback in this year's draft. He's a fucking elite quarterback. There's nothing that slouches him outside of some people acting like they're doctors and they know his fucking medical better than him playing for the last 2 straight years. That's 26 fucking games he's played with 0 fucking injury at a very high level, getting sacked to the fucking ground, running around and fucking throwing the ball. There's nothing. He's put up 9,500 yards in 2 fucking years. Like, there's nothing that negates him and his injury deal. I've said some schools just can't prep the way other schools can. So for me, you want to sit on there or what? You want to turn on your TV? Huh? Turn it on. Turn it on. You don't have to. Turn it on.
Your low part's like a peachy.
Yeah, just turn it on. Whatever you want. I don't want you to sit here in the dark, man. But long story short, I would just say for me, I think like at the end of the day, if we're just looking at what do you do with Devontae if Aiden's not working? You know, we're really fucking the pooch over here for the Raiders if that's the route that we're choosing to go. I believe at the end of the day, I wish there was a way we can get Penix and Mitchell, because I've said I'm a huge Quentin Mitchell fan, but I said this in last year's draft. Listen, I wanted CJ Stroud. And I said if we didn't get CJ, I wanted frickin' Christian Gonzalez. So I mean, again, we're right back here again where I feel like the quarterback will probably be the bigger need before the cornerback. And I've said this again too. In post June 1st, post June, yeah, just click it up. Yeah, no, go back down, over. Yeah. So I've said, yeah. So I've said, like, if you get to the post June 1st, it's gonna update it right now. Hold on. Post June 1st deal, you're gonna have a lot of cuts. People are gonna get cut. Players are gonna go places. But let's be real. Let's just think about this logically, okay? Because that's what we have to do at the end of the day, man. Is it easier to trade for a quarterback that's going to be good, or is it easier to trade for a corner? I think we would have better success to trade for a corner from multiple teams in the NFL once the draft is over than it would be to try to trade for a quarterback. I think it's going to be, there's not going to be none out there, man. Like if the Broncos are trading for Zach fucking Wilson, who the fuck are we trading for? You know, so to me, I just feel the quarterback has to be the bigger need, man. I mean, I just got to be honest. I think the quarterback, in my personal opinion, has to be the bigger need because of the fact that we can get a corner in free agent in post June 1st. And I've already said the corner that I brought up, Jameer Jones, is a fucking savage, bro. We'll watch his highlights here in a few minutes, just so you know. This dude ain't no slouch, dude. And I've said if there are players that are going to be good players, it's like I've said, Quentin Mitchell to me he's a dog. He's a great player. I mean, he's been my number one corner the whole entire time. But the more and more I think about it, you know, and I've always said, getting to the final days are going to have people seeing things a lot more clear, a lot more in what we need. And I've just said, like, when you get down to the final days, man, when you start looking at deals, you have Jack Jones, and you're going to pay this dude money next year. Watch, he's on 2 years left, but he getting paid next year. You can mark that. So he's going to get a fucking big contract, man, because if he plays good this year, he's going to get a good chunk of money, and we're going to pay him that money. So I've always said, if you look at how Miami did it, they were able to do it because of quarterbacks and so on and personal, you know, other needs. I feel like we have too much going on here to be able to do that. I think if we solidify the corner, it'll give us more leadway or the quarterback, it would give us more leadway with Devontae. And I think that's real crucial coming into next year's deal is you're on $44 million. How do we get you to get it down, but want to stay here? But we could also get you to extend your contract. And I keep telling people, I strongly believe that that's the way you can do it. You can get them to restructure, and instead of turning it into a void year, you just turn it into another contract year. That's it. And I think that would be the key way to do it, to where we still get the production, we get it at where we're not hindering our team, and we still get the quarterback. So I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, I would have said before all the draft and all the hype about all quarterbacks and everything, people or everything, because
I kind of got to agree. I mean, I guess like another guy I like is like Andrew Phillips, who you can get in the second round at corner as well. So I mean, like I wouldn't be mad if we got Penix and then we went corner in second or third.
That Max Ruggers guy. The Max guy from Ruggers is popping up.
Max Milton.
Yeah, he's popping up. He's jumping up boards.
He's a player, but this is the way I feel like you have to look at. So look, names are gonna pop up. There's not a doubt. But this is why I feel like So look, when you look at the second round, what's the biggest need to the Raiders? It's not a cornerback. It's not. It's an offensive guard. The offensive
No,
guard is
it's
fucking
guard.
one
Yeah.
of the most crucial spots for our team. So to project a corner in the second round over a guard, that would just be dumb business for us, because we already got good corner over there. I mean, at the end of the day, man, we got Brandon Fasum that was just here a few years ago. He played great with Casey Hayward, man. He went over to the Colts. He played just fine. He had an injury, comes here, he sits out. The odds are he's going to probably play decent football. So it's not like we're just coming out onto the field with some slouch. We have Nate fucking Hobbs. We have Sam Webbs that's shown massive production behind him for the last few years. So, and again, we've even tried to advocate for him to be a starter. I mean, I can go bring up post after post about it. So for me, I do not believe to take a corner in the second round. I strongly believe if it's Penix, it needs to be Cooper BB. And then from there on, you can decipher however the fucking want to change whatever picks anywhere. But I strongly believe those first two picks can't be altered if you're trying to go that direction with that quarterback, because you cannot go into this deal trying to say, oh, White Herring and fucking what's his name is Meredith is going to be those people. I strongly believe if BB is on that board, he has to be 1,000% locked, dude. Like he has to be, because it's just too big of a need. He's too much of a mauler, and when you're putting, like I've said, when you're putting left-handed quarterback there, this guy doesn't give up very much. So to me, and again, this is just my personal opinion, man. Like I just advocate this in my own opinion, but I strongly feel it should go those picks like that. A guard, it has to be a guard. Man, I can't.
You know why?
Any other player?
You know why? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You know why I think it's a good idea? I mean, it's a good idea to pick Penix because he's a great player. Like that's clear as day. But one good side about it is who's on the left side of the ball on the line. Colton Miller and Dylan Parham, our two best offensive linemen. There you go, right there.
And
you know, you're
Andre James as the center. So I mean, that whole
there you go, right there.
Yeah, and that's what I think, Mel. BZ, I think that 100%, man. This guy has been in Washington, and you can look at video after video. The guy moves around in the back of the pocket. He just doesn't take off running. He's very mobile in the back of the field. He moves around back there all the fucking time. He just throws the ball. You just don't run. Like, that's what he chooses first, is to get rid of the ball first. You don't want to run first, man. But you're 100% right, dude. People are underestimating his capability because he is a good fucking dude back there. So, I mean, let's look up this dude's highlights quick. I want to watch this dude's
highlights. I agree, because Mahomes does the same thing. He's like a pass-first quarterback. He scrambles in the back of the thing. He does the same thing.
And if you look at, you don't want. And I told Jason this in the Discord. You don't want a run-first quarterback like Lamar Jackson and people like that, because they're bound to get injured and they can't freaking throw the ball. So you look at Patrick Mahomes. His first thing is he's going to pass the ball. So, and if he has to, he will extend the play. That's what you want. You want a quarterback that can throw, and then worst comes to worst, if the lines, if it starts pushing on you, you get out of the pocket and extend the play on unscripted. That's the type of quarterback you want. You don't necessarily want a quarterback that runs first. I mean, that's my opinion.
No, I don't want. If I wanted Lamar Jackson, I would have fucking tried to trade for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna look at this corner that I was saying comes from Florida State, dude. He's a guy that when I said we can probably make the trade with the Texans, move down a little bit, and then try to grab this guy. I really like this guy after I watch this dude. I mean, this fucking guy, he doesn't mess around, man. He just gets at it. You can't have volume, just so you guys know. Can't do no volume. But this dude, man, he's just a fucking hawk, man. This guy just goes so hard after people. It's just not even funny. Look at that.
Ooh.
You see the athleticism in that pick right there?
Yeah, and one more thing about the tackle I forgot to mention. I saw a report today that Tom Telesco views multiple tackles that are in rounds 3 and 4 as day one starters. So there you go right there, too.
This guy fucking hops the gun on that fool the house. This guy has phenomenal ball hawking skills, man. I'm not even gonna lie. This dude's all over it. And you watch, dude. I'll show you. There's a guy named Cam Hart, dude, that's projected in the same deal around him. Look at how hard this guy plays. This dude got Raider written all over him. This dude comes to our team and plays like this. This is gonna be a lights out dude right here. I mean, this guy is all about it. He's fast. He can get after people. I mean, this guy is a good player. And like I said, he's a 4th round. This is a 4th round corner. And at the end of the day, I just think, like I said, I need to go out.
Yeah, I like Jaron Jones. He's like my top 4th round guy, 3rd round guy.
Gun every time. Look how
Andrew Phillips is like a 2nd round guy. Trying to think this guy I'd even take him late 3rd.
Yeah, this guy's a fucking
Just
gunner. He's a fucking gunner.
Yeah, he's nice.
No joke right here, fucking, and that's why I'm saying this dude right here in his projection, he's projected at 135, so he's projected a 4th round pick, not 3rd. He's a projected 4th round player. And that's why I think that when plus you see how many DTs, the corners.
He's projected 4th. Sorry, he's projected 4th, but I'd take him even in the 3rd, to be honest. I'd take him higher just because other teams that might still want a corner just jump him. So I just wouldn't take the risk.
Get targeted to the Cowboys in that round, man. I feel like hardcore. But look at this dude, how he plays under, how he's always fucking hawking, dude. Like, this dude don't fuck around, man. Like, I like this guy a lot, and I would most definitely draft this dude and put him on our team. And that's all I'm saying is like when people think that we don't
look up what's his name? That Mustafa guy from Wake Forest, the safety, is around the same area.
Yeah, I've seen him. But that's why I said I would make this trade with the Texans, and then at 188, I would go after what's his name, Taylor. Fucking, I would go after Taylor from Air Force. Fucking, I'd go after that safety. Oh, what the fuck is his name? Trey Taylor.
Trey. Yeah, Trey.
Yeah, I'd go after Trey Taylor. Fucking, I think he would be better. I've looked at Mufasa numerous highlight tapes, dude. The problem with him is he just gives me Carl Joseph vibes too much, man. And I think I'll pass on. I think we already had Carl Joseph here once. I don't want him, man. And he plays small, man. Like, this dude Trey, he's from Air Force, dude. This fucking guy.
What do you think about Chris Smith?
I mean, the problem what I think is going to end up happening is if they don't step up their deal, it's not their players, it's not their people. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, I don't think people want to go down without it being their players. You know what I mean? I think that's just everybody's motto. So
yeah,
for me, I think they'll obviously going to bring him onto the roster. But look, like Paulo, right? Paulo showed up in the middle of last year with AP, and they started praising him. But you didn't have Smith and them start showing up. They were struggling here and there, come up a game, go down a game. Like, it was back and forth. So I believe that we're going to start seeing like them weed out these types of players that weren't their players. And I mean, it's nothing to do with those type of players. They're not theirs, Salute Gojo, appreciate you, bro, man. Yeah, I mean, like I said, 100%. Here's the safety I was talking about that we can get in the later round too. He would be a really good added player too here. Just like I'm saying, we always got to look like we already have the starters. We're not trying to get starters. You know what I mean? Like, we want We want players that can come in, be a backup for a year or two,
Yeah.
and then fucking start if, like, say, for instance, that Morg doesn't show up this year, or say that Epps doesn't fucking show up. We need these types of dudes to be there to take over. And when you look at players' types, you have to look at the aggression because they come from smaller schools, so they're not playing as big of competition or not. So you have to see the anger, the aggression in a player. Is he playing hard? Is he playing fast? Is he over it? These dudes play fucking hard. These guys have Raider written over them. It's like when we get done here, I'll show you a guy named Cam Hart. The guy is just horrible, and he has a good.
I'm not a Cam Hart fan. I reckon he's projected way too high.
That guy's coverage is garbage as hell, man. Like, he has such trash garbage coverage, but look at these guys. This dude throw your ass to the ground, fucking hits you hella hard, play to the end. You go look at that Jones dude I just showed doing the same shit, cutting motherfuckers off, fucking jumping the gun because they're playing hard. They're playing the way that Charles Woodson and all these dudes used to play. They play hard football. Like, they're not over here just lollygagging around and hoping that something comes to them. These dudes
Look
play.
up Andrew Phillips next. Just so you can have a quick look at his highlights.
Yeah, I mean, these guys don't mess around, and I believe, like, for where we pick them and where we're getting them, these guys just bring massive value. They just bring massive value. And again, these wouldn't be day one starters. They would come in, they would become backups at first, and if they outplayed the starters, then they'll deserve that position. But at certain spots, it's not about them coming in and being starters today.
Because Andrew Phillips is someone I like to take in the second, but only if BB's not there, like if he's gone before our pick.
Yeah, I think in the Telesco's presser, he talked about having people that are going to be fundamental pieces 4 and 5 years down the road.
Right.
So bringing in the people like this. This guy plays strong. He plays hard, man. He's a big dude. I mean, he can be down in the box. He can be out back. I mean, this dude right here, he's a seek to destroy fucking player, man.
Yeah, I like it. I like Trey. It's good.
Yeah, this guy don't fuck around. I mean, you see how fast he's in the back.
That's what I look for in corners. I look for that aggression, or DBs in general. I look for that aggression. They're gonna have that aggression, man, and they're gonna be willing to fucking tackle. Because the one thing I hated.
That was me the whole time I played, man. Let me catch you fucking lurking, motherfucker, and you're gonna get slept, dude. Like, that's exactly how I thought about it all the time. Sitting there, fucking safety is supposed to be you fuck around, you're gonna find out. Like, you always got to be where they're at, dude, because you don't want to get cleaned by one of them open field.
Yeah, exactly, and that's my point. I feel like we've been lacking. Like, Hobbs has a bit of it, and Jack Jones definitely has it, but we've been lacking depth at corner and safety where they've got that mentality that they're willing to fucking hit somebody, like tackle somebody hard. You know what I mean?
These guys play hard football. They're just fast, dude. Like, they're fast.
That's what you want. That's what you want, because put the fear in God of them that they don't want to get tackled in the open field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, he plays in cold weather, dude. It doesn't phase him, dude. I mean, when we get to the playoffs, depending on where we're at or where we're going, is that Ed Reed?
I think so.
There's no way that's Ed Reed. But that was Ed Reed, wasn't it?
It kind of looks like him a little bit.
I'm almost sure that was Ed Reed.
Did you want to look up Andrew Phillips next, like ANDRU Phillips, after this guy?
What is it?
Andrew, ANDRU, and then second name Phillips.
ANDRU.
He's from Kentucky. Yeah, ANDRU. So Andrew spelled like with the RU on the end instead of the EW. And then Phillips from Kentucky. He's probably the only guy that I'd want if at corner in that second round if BB ain't there. Otherwise, like you said, you better wait for a guy like Trey or someone else or Jaren Jones further down the board later rounds.
You say Andrew Phillips from Kentucky too?
Yeah, from Kentucky.
Yeah, I've already scouted this guy here.
Yeah, it's first time it spelled kind of weird, like
I would
ANDRU.
still take. There's still way better safety than this guy in that round. I mean, fucking.
It's projected about around the 80s. Like just inside the top 100 still. So we pick at like I think 70. Sorry, third round, not second. I meant to say third round. The third round corner.
Here.
Because second round is like guys like what's his name, like fucking I think it was TJ Tampa and Max Milton and like second round guys. Yeah, Phillips is probably like late second, early third.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. This guy would be projected starter when we don't need a starting safety.
It's a corner.
Oh, corner?
Corner. Not safety, corner.
Yeah, that's what I say. I don't. This is fucking what's his name? Fucking.
Right, it's lagging. I just like corners aren't afraid to hit. I feel like that's what we need. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of corners. Depends what round you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
This class is actually pretty deep.
And they have over 50 of them. Fucking.
No, it's lagging for some reason. Unless it's just my side.
What was it?
I was saying I don't know why it's lagging unless it's just my side. The video.
Yeah, the video looks pretty good.
Yeah, I don't say. I know mine ain't lagging.
No, it must be just my side then.
It could be an IP address thing for some of us.
Yeah, maybe. So I like the way he puts his head into the tackle. I like guys that aren't afraid to get their head into it and hit.
Yeah, NFL's been getting real soft about that. Though.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I feel about it. So I feel like a lot of the corners we've had lately outside of Jones and Hobbs, they've all been like soft when it comes to tackling. Yeah. So I want guys that are willing to run up and hit somebody, knock the fucking ball loose, or tackle to do at least.
I'm talking grab his leg and fucking let go. I feel
What
bad.
guy we watching?
Savannah wanted to play fucking Fortnite and fucking.
Andrew Phillips, cornerback.
Oh my God, I wanted here.
There's a lot of Kentucky players that played good this year.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed. I noticed that Kentucky has a pretty good defense last year.
Yeah, Kentucky had a few good players over there. They have numerous good players over there.
I think Kentucky. I think it's their DT. I like too. Dwayne Carter. I'm pretty sure he's from Kentucky. He's like the leader of the defense at D-line.
Can we look at King's tape?
I'm not watching King, man. He's not good.
No, King's not that good, bro.
Yeah,
he's alright, but he's not that good.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm thinking
of player I picked, and he's from Penn. He's not as good as fucking Jones. Nowhere even close.
I know we don't really need a D tackle, but did you want to look at Dwayne Carter from Duke real quick?
I'm not going to try to keep watching highlights. I'm going to try to hop off here and play Fortnite with my kid here pretty quick. But
fair enough.
Long story short, if you guys, so basically, if we go into tomorrow's draft, how would you guys want to see the draft? You guys want to see us? Your deal is echoing hard, man. If we go into tomorrow's draft, how would you want to see it by the end? Do you want to see more defense, more offense? How do you guys want to see it?
I'll go first if you want.
Team to go.
Yeah, for me personally, I'm happy with corner quarterback. Sorry, in the first. I'd be happy with Penix, and then taking one of the later round corners. But another thing I want to see in this draft, and I feel like it's more of a need than people realize, is I want us to pick up another fucking middle linebacker in this draft. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Masterson, he's okay, but I feel like we're very thin behind Spillane at middle linebacker. We have plenty of outside linebackers. Diablo to me is like a fucking Tahir Whitehead. He's good against the run, but I don't trust him in coverage.
If we can get that Travian Walker or Travian Wallace, I would take that motherfucker. And if he's in the third round,
Wallace, Jeremiah Trotter, Junior Colson, and fucking there was one other one I was looking at. But there was about 4 dudes that I'd take around that third round. I feel like the good spot for linebacker is going to be like round 3. Because after round 3, there's kind of like a fall off as far as like middle linebackers goes. Like you've got some guys that are going to be good against the run in like rounds 4, 5, 6, 7. But the top coverage linebackers are going to be gone by the end of round 3, I think. So we need a guy that's going to be good in coverage like Spillane is. Because I'm just like, my fear is if we're doing really good and then knock on wood that nothing happens to Spillane. But I feel like if something does, we're kind of fucked at that middle linebacker spot because the next man up is Masterson, which I'm kind of like in wait and see mode as to how he develops. But I want another stud linebacker behind, like in that group, for the middle linebacker spot. I want a guy that we know as far as college goes. We know that he's played the spot in college. We know that he's done it before at some point in his career, whether college or NFL, whatever. We need another dude that can go in behind Spillane, you know what I mean? And another thing is, it's not just that, it's also Spillane's on the last year of his contract. In December this year, he's turning 30. Now, I can see a 2-year extension for Spillane, like 1 to 2 years. You can definitely see that happening at the end of this next year, like next offseason or even mid-season. If Spillane keeps playing well, I can see another 1 to 2 year extension. But you just kind of saw it with, what's his name from Seattle, KJ Wright, when we picked him up. He still had the football IQ, but his body couldn't keep up with his head. And linebackers, that kind of spot, once they start to get at 33, 35, 34, 35 kind of age group, it's like they can't keep up in the same way in coverage that you should. The body just can't keep up with it anymore. So I feel like Spillane's got another maybe 2 or 3 good years left, but we need to start developing someone behind him for the future. Because to me, I like to get a guy early, like 1 to 2 years before you're going to start him. It's kind of like how Telesco said, we've got to get guys for, 4 or 5 years down the road. They're going to take over. So I'd rather get a guy now. He can sit behind Spillane for a couple of years and then eventually take over. So, yeah, I'm happy with that Wallace guy, fucking Jeremiah Trotter, Junior Colson from Michigan. Like, guys that can cover well at the linebacking spot.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've set out my list. I think if we hit on those people, our team's gonna be
we're gonna be next level, bro.
We're gonna be balling, man. It's not even gonna be close. I mean, I've said if our first 3 picks is Penix, BB, and fucking Wallace, we're gonna be balling out just off those three alone.
I'm happy with that, or to just put, if Wallace ain't there, you get Jeremiah Trotter or another linebacker like Colson. I'm still happy with any of those three at linebacker at the third round.
Yeah, it's like I've said, at every round.
Coverage, guys that can cover.
We can name 3 people at every round, but if I'm going off of the production, I'm taking Wallace over Trotter easily. I mean, probably not.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, Wallace is projected higher. I'm just saying if it's not there, like if someone else picks him before I pick, I'm still happy with Trotter.
Yeah, because like I've said, at every round, we could have 3 people. Every round, we'll have a 3-person around there. So I've always said, like, in my board, I make every round, then I pick my main guy, but there's always 2 dudes sitting right next to it.
Yeah,
and I've always said every time it can go either the third round is most definitely projected linebacker round. I think if that's where you're going to go, it probably make the sense. Defensive tackle has probably got to be the heaviest group in this draft. So I think you can get defensive tackles at anywhere across. And plus, like I've said, I don't think it's a massive need. That's why the guy I keep, there's only one defensive tackle I put for our team, but it's not because of the fact that he's a DT. It's the fact that I think he's going to end up playing. He can play either way. Jam Cree. Let's see this guy's name.
What school is he from? Mississippi? The one you're talking about, Crombie? The later rounds, or you're talking about
James
earlier?
Madison.
Oh yeah, Madison.
Hey, I'm gonna head out. I gotta get up at 3:30.
All right, man.
And go to that deal.
You're talking about Jamry Karoma.
Salute everyone.
He's not bad.
All right, man. Have a good night, man.
Have a good night. He's probably like, I'd say 5th round, maybe, or 6th.
Yeah, he's gonna be in. He's gonna be 6th, 7th round. On the board is where they'll have him. And this is a guy, but the reason why I feel him is because, like I spoke earlier, it's not, we don't need DTs, but with his length and the way he plays, he would be more DN, and I think we're going to have to pick up a DN, at a deal to be able to play. This guy, he's just got good build, good size. I mean, again, he's a later round pick, man, but this guy, he stops motherfuckers for sure. And I mean, he's fast.
A later round DN that I like, though, is that that one out of Colorado State, which is that Muhammad Kamara. He's projected around 190, 200 pick. So he's around 5'6".
And you see, he plays outside. He plays outside, inside. So for me, I just think when you're looking for rotational, I've always said you're going to go from a college kid's body to an NFL body. And I think when you have a guy like this guy, picking him up in the later rounds, you can use him to be DNDT in our line, which would be useful because, like I said, we don't have very many DNs. So this guy would be a better later round pick for us. He's just a big body motherfucker, and he can get after people, man. He ain't slow. And I've said, I think with the way that I think the way that AP's defense and all of these people are, I think that it would just be smart to get people that are aggressive and that are just aggressive and play on. And again, this guy's going to be a 7th round pick. He'll be a 7th round, probably. He'll probably be he's going to get picked. I know that for sure, but he's not going to go fucking.
I typed the name in the private chat. If you could just look that one up real quick. That's the DN. He's kind of like I just typed in the private chat for you. He's from Colorado State. He's like a DN, but he's a pretty big dude as well. But he's more projected as a DN because it's like 250.
Yeah, I know where he is, but like I've said, it's all going to depend on where their projection is because
he's like 190, pick 190. Projection?
Yeah, 190, but that's why I said I would take the receiver in those spots, because in our roster we only have 5 people.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm saying if he falls down to like the 208 pick around there, I'll take him there.
That's where I would take Ryan at.
Okay.
Raiders roster. See, I mean, at the end of the day, we can't. When I look at the rosters, I can't just pick people to have them. I've always said, and the way that the roster should always go, no matter how.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to head off so my dog wants to walk.
All right, man.
All right,
No,
man. Take it easy.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, dude. Have a good night.
So, later,
guys. This is fucking Brian Hoyer. What the hell are you fucking looking at this fucking roster for? Yeah, I think at the end of the day, Rudy, who would, like, if you were going tomorrow, like, who are you, like, who do you want to see the Raiders, like, offense, defense, you half and half? How do you want to see the draft go off?
I'd prefer, normally I'd go offense, but I'm going defense because there is a big need with the DB situation, although we got Jack Jones. But unless you have faith in Nate Hobbs being the corner, I know there's Brandon Faison, but I still have questions with Brandon Faison, though. I mean, you can roll the dice with him. He's a zone corner. I don't know if we're playing that man-to-man. He fits better with the old Brad, what's his name? God dang it, I forgot his name. A former defensive coordinator, what is his name? He was under Gruden. You're playing that zone defense. Yeah, he fits well, but are we going to play man-to-man defense? If we're playing man-to-man defense, I draft a corner in the first round. And if that corner, like I said, like that Quinn Mitchell, if he's not available, he could be possibly taken before the 13th pick. The Raiders could do, if they wanted to, if they want to take a chance, they could trade down, get more draft value, and they could take Penix in a later first round and then, get an extra second round pick, and you can get a guard and then also add another corner or safety, however they want to do it. That's what I would do if they don't, like say Quinn Mitchell's not on the board, or do it that way, because you can get I just don't see really see Penix being taken in the first round unless we play it safe. Playing it safe would take him in the 13th pick or even a Bo Nix, because I strongly don't think, because I look at the other teams, I don't think the Jets are going to take a quarterback in the first round. I think maybe second or third round, because they're going to look for a future quarterback, but they don't want a quarterback that's going to be sitting on the bench for like 2 to 3 years unless he's going to be a second or third round quarterback. I could see Denver taking a quarterback in the second round or third round. Not second round, third round, Denver. But the Jets, they could take a second round quarterback. I think you could take a Penix in there. It'd be the safe bet, or even Bo Nix with a 13th pick. It's a safe bet. And I do look at both of those quarterbacks in their tier that they are worth their mid-first round picks. That's where their actual worth is at. But I believe they're going to drop to the second round. I could be wrong. I mean, they're quarterbacks. They look like they were very high and then they drop. The thing is, though, I look at it like who's really wanting quarterback, and like someone made interesting, saying that, the Patriots could just go for Marvin Harrison Jr. and then take a quarterback in the second round, but if they're going to do that, they might look at Bo Nix or Penix in the second round if they were to do that. It's real unpredictable, but just because a quarterback needs a quarterback doesn't mean they're going to necessarily take a quarterback, because they might just want to build a quarterback next year or something. But they really do need a quarterback, and Washington definitely does. And Chicago, they're since they got rid of Justin Fields, they're definitely needing a quarterback. So you got three teams and even the Vikings, that 4 teams that are likely going to get a quarterback. And, but if the Patriots really don't get a quarterback in the first round, that changes everything. It offsets. That means that Chicago will likely get Caleb Williams. Washington will probably go Drake May, and then there's Jayden Daniels, and he drops all the way to the Vikings, and then there's J.J. McCarthy. Well, J.J. McCarthy's stock dropped because I think J.J. McCarthy is probably a plan B for the Vikings. He could go all the way back further and maybe even go in the second round, But, that's if the Patriots decide not to go quarterback in the first round, They could just go for like a Bo Nix or even J.J. McCarthy himself in the second round. There's a lot of variables, but if there's second round and Bo Nix and Penix are still there, the Raiders should not look away. They should just like what happened in 2014 when we got Khalil Mack in the first round in the fourth pick. I think it was fourth pick. And then all of a sudden, Derek Carr was available. The Raiders didn't think he would stay long, and they decided they'd take him because he was projected originally a late first round pick, because all these other quarterbacks were higher than him. And then later on, find out that Derek Carr is better than all of them. They were just looking at him from small school, and they looked at him because he had the name Carr from his brother David, thought he was just mediocre, just like his brother, His brother wasn't mediocre. It was the fact that his brother went to an exhibition team, and exhibition teams are quarterback killing teams, But I would rather. I go for the best player of value over the need, and Quentin Mitchell is better value than Penix and Bo Nix. He's better, but if he's gone or something, I can understand the Raiders want to play it safe, But if they're going to play a little safe, I would trade down, get a little more draft value, take Penix or Bo Nix in like the mid first round, and you get more draft value. Then you can add more players on the roster. That's what I would do. And I'm not going to say we're going to do that because we don't always do the right thing.
It says right here, I put, what round do you think Michael Penix will be drafted? Likely a first round pick. And speaking to multiple NFL teams, ESPN Jeremy Flower believes Michael Penix will be drafted in the first round. Like mock drafts ain't the fucking don't tell the truth. Mock drafts is a simulated process that some dude entered names and he chose to put those names in there. He don't choose when the day the draft comes where they're going to go.
Well,
those
built
simulators long time ago. The Penix,
they're not accurate. None of them are. Yeah.
Jeff's Penix fucking draft stock hopped this motherfucker all the way to top 10, top 15 easily. He's not going into the second round. Bo Nix may fall into the second round depending on if what's his name, Sean Payton don't decide to take him. But then you still have Seattle sitting right here behind us around the 20th that could take him easily.
Yeah.
Then that leaves fucking people like the Broncos out their player. So in any other year, I would bet that people wanted to be taking quarterback or things like that. But in this year, I don't know if people can do that. Like you do that, you're going to get caught sleeping and you're not going to have nobody. It's just like I've said, like when I was just talking with Ozzy about it, about taking certain names. Like I've already looked at all those names. I've seen them in those rounds 100 times. The problem is that just like I said, when you look at our roster, our roster indicates here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 edge players. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 defensive tackles. There's nothing that indicates we would take an edge or defensive tackle in any early rounds. Then you come to the linebacker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5. There's 3. That means there's 2 backups. We will draft a linebacker. There's no doubt about it. You go here, Sam Webb's a corner, he ain't a fucking safety. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jones don't know who he is. Grant Smith. I mean, there's some playable people. So if we were going to get a safety, again, would be another player towards the end of the draft. You come to the corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're drafting a corner 100%, dude. Not a doubt about it. Come in here to the tackles. You're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to go into your guards, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 2 solid players that are your starters. So it's going to be 2 starters, 2 backs. Colt Miller and Munford. Then you're going to have Dalton Wagner. This McKenzie dude, I have no fucking idea who he even is. But long story short, same with the Ben Brown, all backup type players. So that's all I'm saying is you're probably drafting a guard. You'll probably pick up a late tackle, but you already have your starting tackles. You don't have your starting guards. You have Cody Whitehead, Jordan Meredith, Dylan Parham, which is your starter. Dylan Parham's your starter. You don't have your other side. So you're most likely going to get a guard here. I'm saying I guarantee you Thier Munford and Cole Miller will be the starting tackles. So I can't see us jeopardizing drafting the tackle early. Then just like I told him earlier about the tight end, you have Fotheringham, you have Bryant and Gentry. Gentry been on the Steelers for the last 5 years, dude, 4 years. He's a good player. He's not no starting starter, but he's a good player. Brian is a great player. That's why we signed him right off the get-go. You got Mayer and Fotheringham. I believe those will be our tight ends. I don't see a reason to go over there and get one. Halfback, again, I don't even think we'll draft a halfback. You have Sincere McCormick, Alexander Madison, Amir Abdullah, Bretton Brown, Zamir White. I mean, I think we're set here. But wide receiver, we're going to draft a wide receiver. You have Devontae, Jacoby Tucker. Those are your starters. DJ Turner and Wilkinson are both practice squad players. So you're probably drafting two wide receivers, or you're drafting one and signing one in free agency. And this is why I think we'll go with Penix, because Aiden and Gardner at best are both backups, dude. I mean, Anthony Brown, that dude's trash. So I mean, he ain't nothing here. So to me, I mean, it's pretty clear in certain positions of where we're going, but the problem about drafts are you can come up with names like corners and stuff to bring them up there. But the problem is like I've said, I think you need to draft your quarterback, then your offensive guard, then you can venture to your corner, then move to your linebacker. You know, everything has to have a process, because if you don't have the process, you're going to miss on the people that need to be solidified into these positions that are good value positions. You know what I mean? Like when you look at your cornerback, you're looking at Jack Jones, Nate Hobbs, and probably Brandon Faison being your starters. Jacorian Bennett was ranked 125 out of 127 last year. He ain't got anything good. I don't even know who the fuck this Cornell Armstrong is. So to me, if you're taking a corner in that 3rd, 4th round, I mean that says like it needs to happen, because you need somebody that's good. Same with the linebacker here. Would make a lot of sense to take him in that 3rd, 4th round. So I've always said, I think when you're doing the draft, you have to do it by the strength of your roster. And when you're looking at most of these people, like I've said, when you look at these defensive tackles, defensive ends, you have Matthew Butler, Byron Young, Tyree Wilson, Adam Butler, John Jenkins, Christian Wilkinson, Nesta, and McCall, all good players. They're all good players, man. When you get over here to the DN, you know, Elton Smith, fucking David. I mean, some of these guys I don't even fucking know. Charles Snowden, fucking Robinson, Masterson. I mean, some of these guys I don't even know who the hell they are. So I mean, like I've said, I don't see it being. You got to think you only need 2 DNs, man. You got fucking 8 here. So I mean, you only need 2 starters and 2 backups. So I think we'll find them in the DTDN. So that's all I'm trying to say is in some positions, we shouldn't be worrying about getting them at certain picks, because they're not as important as it may think they are. You know what I mean? So, But either way, man, do you have anything else you want to bring up before the draft tomorrow? I mean, speak it now or forever hold your peace.
I do like to say things that a lot of people forget, that Yes. Is there dire needs? We look at other teams, and if you have to think like some of these great people who are good at good at predicting what teams will get certain players. And what's interesting, like we were saying before, is that the New England Patriots could go with the best need, and that's Marvin Harrison Jr. If the Chicago Bears don't get him, then they would get him and draft a quarterback in the second round. I mean, it's a possibility, but there are teams besides us that need a quarterback. There's like Chicago, like we said before, and New England and Washington and Minnesota. And yes, Denver needs a quarterback, but they actually got a quarterback in free agency. I don't know if I trust Zach Wilson. I think he's just going to get killed, just like these other quarterbacks they've had in the past. They're repeating history a little bit. But they could draft a quarterback in the third and fourth round. Sean Payton isn't a guy that usually likes to build up quarterbacks. He got Drew Brees because he was already a build-up quarterback. He was a guy that looked like he was a bust for the Chargers, and then when the Chargers drafted Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees played at his best, and then it's like Marty Schottenheimer, the late Marty Schottenheimer said, you know what, I wish I could keep both of them, but we got to get rid of Drew Brees. Let's trade him and get something from him, And that was actually a smart move, a good move for both the Chargers and Drew Brees, because Drew Brees ended up being a starter for the Saints, and yeah, he got himself a ring and everything, but it's very complicated though right now. We draft a Penix. You could draft a Penix in the first round if you want, play it safe, but there are players a lot better than him, in my opinion, that aren't quarterback though. But the thing is though, are you willing to go for the best player or the need? That's the question. Because some people think we should just go with the need. And guess what happens when we go for the needs? We've done this in history. We went for Robert Gallery when we missed out on Larry Fitzgerald. And we missed out on Megatron with Jamarcus Russell because I'll be honest with you, I thought Jamarcus Russell was the guy for us because he was a quarterback. He was a need and a want at the same time. But he was totally a bust, Nobody saw it till later on. And, but I say it like this: it is a risk. You can roll the dice and everything, and if you can, I just see if the Raiders want Penix, I say the best way to get Penix is to trade down, get more draft value, and you can still get him. There's the only team that might threaten to get him, like you're saying, Seattle could be a team, maybe the Rams too, because of Matthew Stafford. He's getting old, he's brittle and everything. So there's a good chance that, the Rams could, but that just because they need a quarterback in the future doesn't mean they will get one. Because sometimes teams don't always go by what they need to do. There's been teams that should have got a player, but for that position, because it was a giant need and they didn't do it. They didn't care what you or anyone else thought. Or anybody thought. They just went for the best player that they think.
Yeah, but those are also ain't teams like Seattle or the Niners or teams that are successful doing that either.
Yeah.
They're teams that are filling organizations that ain't doing shit. So big difference when people are doing that. When you have teams like, fucking Arizona or the Falcons that got Kurt, that's old, and you got all these quarterbacks. Do you think if the Falcons don't take a quarterback now that they can get one later? Probably wouldn't make no sense. They're at the, seventh pick here? Seventh pick, and if they get Kurt and they go fucking ball with their team, the odds are they're going to have a late round draft pick. So their quarterback would be out the window. It makes sense where you're at the seventh pick. If you feel like you're about to do good to get your quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of teams here, man, that are, like I've said, are going to look for the franchise, not our opinions, there's all kinds. What about the Jets? Aaron Rodgers ain't going to be there. They just shipped off fucking Zach Wilson. Why wouldn't they draft one and then set him behind fucking Rodgers the whole time? Daniel Jones, fucking that dude's going to get shit canned if he don't fucking get his shit together. So do you think he wants to get shit canned with Daniel Jones or he want to get shit canned with his quarterback? I mean, believe me, Penix ain't going to the second round, man. That dude is 100% going to be.
I don't know, unless I think I think that the only team that might get him if he goes, the only team that might get him. There's only two teams I think that might get him in the later first round. That would be, like you said, Seattle or the Rams. Those are the only teams. The other guys aren't looking quarterback. They're looking other positions because they're looking like, that's the only teams. The Rams could.
Told you that. I mean, how would you know? I mean, how do you know how they?
I'm going by like I'm looking at the history of each team, and I'm not saying exactly. Nothing's ever absolute. It's just a little bit of common sense. The Rams, they got Matthew Stafford, who's brittle as hell, and they need a guy that's going to replace him.
So there'd be 5 quarterbacks. There would be Caleb gone in the first right away. Jayden Daniels gone right away. Drake May gone right away. And fucking so would JJ McCarthy.
Yeah,
and you think Penix, being the quarterback he is, these guys are gone in the top 4 fucking picks. 5 picks. He ain't gonna be gone. That's
but like I said, but there's other teams. Just because they like them doesn't mean they will get them. Because
if he comes to us,
the teams that
he comes to us, we're going to take him. You can mark it.
I would say, like I said, I wouldn't be mad, like I said, with getting Penix. I wouldn't get really mad even if we took him like with a 13th pick. I really wouldn't. I would be surprised if we took him with a 13th. Not too surprised, but if like I said, Telesco though, he's the one that's truly in charge of the draft. Sure, he's going to listen to AP and everybody else, but he's the one who will have the final word. And Mark Davis gave him that power, and it's going to be interesting if we do go quarterback or corner. I'd prefer corner, but before that, I was thinking quarterback a little bit earlier, more quarterback per se than corner. But I look at the situation. What's the best player? Is the best player Penix or is it Quinn Mitchell? And it's very hard to say. I mean, or even Bo Nix. You had those guys in there, and but it depends. Sometimes teams don't always get the best player position. They go by need more. But I think, can Penix be a guy that can compete against Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert? Yeah, I do. I think I look at him more as a Byron Leftwich prototype, though, because he's a left-handed pocket quarterback. And yeah, he can move out of the pocket, but he's more got a strong pocket presence. And usually the best quarterbacks survive and do better are pocket present quarterbacks, But I wouldn't be mad if we got Penix or Bo Nix. I think, but one thing I would get mad, the only thing that would piss me off is if we take a tackle in the 13th pick. That would piss me off the most. It would be like we'd be repeating history like we did with Alex Leatherwood, and Alex Leatherwood was a bad pick, but he wasn't a bad player. He just wasn't worth that pick, and I felt bad we got rid of him the way we did for him. He was done wrong by Josh McDaniels. He messed that kid's career up. That kid was more regarded.
2024 final mock draft has the Raiders taking Michael Penix Jr. at the 13th pick.
Mm-hmm.
Even here, fucking for the last week, the whole entire last week, it says right here, should the Raiders take quarterback Michael Penix at the 13th pick, Daniel Jeremiah mocks in his first final mock draft of 2024 NFL Network. Daniel Jeremiah has Washington Huskies quarterback Michael Penix going off the board at 13 to the Las Vegas Raiders. It's been like this for a while now. Raiders taking Michael Penix at the number 13th pick in the NFL draft 6 days ago. Raiders really do. Michael Penix could draft quarterback. 2024 draft rumors, Raiders select Michael Penix. Then here it comes, down to 1 hour ago. Daniel Jeremiah's final mock draft taking Michael Penix. I mean, Daniel knows what he's talking about, man, and that dude is good at his shit. He's a Mike Mayock descendant, man, but long story short, it's been projected for a while now that the Raiders like Penix and Spencer Rattler. So if Penix is on the board at 13th, I'll bet we take him. Like, I'll bet hardcore money we take him.
Well, I think Penix will definitely be on the board on 13th. Because let's look at the quarterback teams that do need quarterbacks that won't take a quarterback. Denver, like I said, I have a hard feeling they're not going quarterback at all. They should, and then the Jets, I don't think they're going to go quarterback in the first round either. I think the only teams that are likely to go quarterback could be New England. It's like a 50-50 chance they'll go quarterback. It's like about a 90+% that, Chicago will, and so would Washington, and then the Vikings. They're definitely going to go quarterback. So you got 3 to 4 teams that want to get quarterback. 4 teams at least that are likely drafting quarterback. Even though there's teams who should get quarterback, doesn't mean they will. So you could see, New York Giants. They could go quarterback, but I think they like their guy though, and I think that the Giants probably will most likely go O-line though. And, because they got O-line problems and yes, the Chargers, they can go O-line or they can go tight end. They want Jim Harbaugh, I do believe, and I've been agreeing with you, is that he wants to have a West Coast offense, a heavy running offense, and Chargers have never had that since LaDainian Tomlinson, when they had a heavy running team,
See, just like right here, the New York Giants have reportedly set their sights on drafting North Carolina quarterback Drake May in the first round of the 2024 NFL draft, which kicks off Thursday. Fucking says right here that the Vikings and Giants, the teams to watch to trade for Drake. We even had reports of here early this morning, which I think is this report, where they tried to contact the New England and already make this trade. So I didn't hear that guy on your team. Like I said, you're just going off of what you think man. But there are plenty of teams here that are most definitely going to go after quarterbacks. And if you get teams like these that jump up and want to get him, Penix is most definitely going to go one of these quarterbacks, because just because they are looking at certain quarterbacks, the one thing I've made clear is that all these quarterbacks are damn near the same. There's not very much far off of any of these quarterbacks. So when people are
they all got strong arms,
they all got strong arms. They could all run and they could all play the game. So, and it says it right here. It says Caleb locked into the Chicago Bears. Jayden Daniels likely lands with the Washington Commanders in the 2024. New England Patriots may be the position to receive a haul from a team that wants to service deal. Minnesota and Giants led the race.
And there's a good
quarterbacks themselves. The Patriots could simply stand pat and take May with the 3rd overall pick, which would just a little over 24 hours until the deal. They already said right here, Caleb Williams locked to Chicago, and with Jayden Daniels likely to land with the Washington Commanders. Like it's gonna be fucking Drake May, where it's gonna all start all hell at New England.
Usually, a lot of the draft experts, they're very accurate. Usually from 1 through 10 in most drafts, but they've been off before. Like one time they got one wrong, where they thought that what's his name, Dan Darnold, whatever his name is, that used to be with the Jets, was going to be the first quarterback taken. And in truth, it was Baker Mayfield. I mean, they've been wrong before. I'm not going to say they're going to be wrong. First, like I said, accuracy is more within 1 through 10.
Says the Giants claim that they don't have buyers or more on Daniel Jones, that they nevertheless might be trying to buy another quarterback, exploring trade up from the 6th overall pick in the draft to North Carolina. Drake May. Jones was the 6th overall pick 5 years ago from Duke. Giants gave Jones long-term, didn't like it. Jones fully guaranteed. Played. They're going to cut this motherfucker and go for Drake.
Well, there is also another situation, like I said
the
before.
Vikings will be the only team that'll compete with them, depending on if they want them. The Vikings will be the only team.
Yeah, well, I think, like I said, they had a quarterback. What's his name that was playing? He kind of really took over for them, and I don't know if they want to put their faith in him, even though he was doing better with them than Daniel Jones. What was his name? He was a backup, and he's like looking like he could be the starter of the Giants. But I say it like this though. Let's just say they do go quarterback. They want to go quarterback. The Giants are going to go quarterback. There's a good chance that, like, for instance, the Patriots, they could trade. They could trade their first round pick. Not trade a first round pick. They could take a wide receiver and then go quarterback in the second round because they like Marvin Harrison better than anyone else, and they could do that. It's a good possibility.
It says, I put, where is Jayden Daniels going in the draft in 2024 NFL draft odds? Jayden Daniels, quarterback, LSU. Currently, the Washington Commanders have him at a -50 or 450 for the favorites to land Jayden Daniels at the number 2. New England Patriots plus 350. A -450 to 3 plus 350. He's going to the Commanders, man.
Yeah. It could be, Caleb Williams, and then Jayden Daniels goes to Washington, and Drake May could possibly go to the Giants. It's a good possibility. I'm not gonna. I don't ever say it can't happen. There's all things, but the teams that are likely, like I said, Patriots, they probably might just go for the best player, and they're looking. Wow. Wow, is Marvin Harrison Jr. still on? I thought, and he's right there. We should be the first pick, really. You and I both agree with that, but that doesn't always happen. And I think they want that receiver more than the quarterback. Any quarterback, it's crazy. They might just do that. I mean, I'm not going to say it will, but let's just say it doesn't. No, you could say, let's see, aren't the Patriots like the third team? They're like the third pick.
They're the third on there, yeah.
Yeah, if they're the third pick, you go Caleb Williams, and then Washington gets Jay Daniels, and then, the Patriots would go with Drake May, and then that leaves McCarthy. McCarthy would likely go to the Giants. He could go to the Giants, and then there's the Vikings. They need a quarterback, and then they might have to go like a Bo Nix or a Penix, that could be a possibility. I mean, but then again, maybe they might not take him anyway. They might just trade down and get more draft value, or, that's a possibility. Or they play it safe and just get a Bo Nix or a Penix, it's a possibility. There's all kinds of possibilities.
That is facts, and we're only till 5 o'clock tomorrow, West Coast time, 8 p.m. Pacific. It'll be on, man. So,
man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that draft. I got to take my niece to I'll try to keep up on it on my phone or something.
We'll be in the Discord live streaming it, so we'll be in there watching it, and then for anybody that wants
wait a minute. I'm in Alaska time.
Join up. It'll be you're an hour behind, so it'll be 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock would be my time. I have to take my niece to she has a counseling. I have to take her to her counselor appointment for my brother because he's out of state. So I got to take her out to there with my mom. My mom and I, we're going to take her there, and I'm going to try to keep up with it. And if I have to, I can always, look at what the draft, go on the internet and look it up and stuff.
Facts will be 13. I mean, it'll be probably an hour before, so it'll probably be drafting our pick around 6 o'clock your time. So
I'm like,
or 5 o'clock your time.
Yeah, 5 o'clock my time because I'm an hour behind Pacific time.
I'll probably be picking around 6 our time, 5 your time, hour and 15 minutes or 10-minute time. Most of the people wait the whole 10 minutes. So, but either way, I mean, like I said, we have a lot to see what'll happen tomorrow. It'll be the last and final day of thank God about the draft and go from there. I mean, not the last day of the draft, but the last day of talking about the fucking draft. So once it starts, man, and passes up, it'll be the best deal for a while. But long story short, man, whoever the Raiders take, I'll be excited for. I'm not gonna sit and say they're the ones that run the team. They're the ones that are gonna know who's best for the roster they're trying to build. So I just put out my people. If they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. I mean, I have no hinder, no loss. You know what I mean? So all I would say, if you guys want to watch it or don't have a place to watch it, just join our Discord. We'll be live streaming it around 5:00 in the Game Day VC. So like I said, if anybody doesn't have a way to watch it, go in there and we'll be putting it up. So you have anything else you want to add or?
No, that's about it. That's all I can think of so far.
Outside of that, I hope you guys have a great night. And like I said, if you guys don't have a place to watch it, just head over to the Discord. It'll be over there. I will be putting a link for it up on Instagram tomorrow morning. So if you don't have a link to the Discord, just go to our Instagram. You'll see the link on there. And outside of that, man, I hope that the Raiders draft what's best for our team. I hope it's a good draft, not only for, us, but for AP going forward. And outside of that, man, all I can say is let's get ready for tomorrow and hope for the best. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if we get the people we choose as long as it's the best people for our team. That's what matters. So outside of that, I hope you guys have a great night. I always say don't drink and drive, man. Stay safe. And we'll catch you on Friday, probably Saturday for the next one, man. So peace out, Raider Nation. Stay safe.
Later, everyone.